You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. We're set for a showdown in San Antonio with all eyes on the Alamo Dome for the latest installment of the battle for I-35 as the Texas State Bobcats make this short trip south to take on the UTSA Roadrunners, who moments ago took the field to a raucous crowd. Texas State in enemy territory trying to win a second straight in this rivalry. He's the former North Texas quarterback, LaDarren McClain. Jack Benjamin with you. Around here, they know about this rivalry and how good it is. I think the nation's going to start taking note. Two coaches incredibly familiar with one another and two very good football teams. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the talent in this game is off the charts. You can put the talent up against anybody else in the country, and the way these two teams are built, they're built physical. They have mean offensive lines, and their defense like to get after it. And today it's going to come down to which team can handle the nerves and make the less mistakes today.
And two teams that want to lean on running the football. UTSA's got an outstanding back in Robert Henry Jr. How about 177 rush yards at A&M last week?
Yeah, he's been simply sensational, dating back to 2024. In the last 3 games, he's had 520 yards plus rushing, and he's had 6 touchdowns, not to mention 3 75-plus yard rushes as well. Listen, this guy is elite, and he can get this offense going. His change of direction and the way he can lean, he's fantastic. They'll need him today.
Now, the Bobcats have a great back in their own right in Lincoln Perry, 6th-year guy. He can really get it done on the ground.
And he's been fantastic. The coaches call him the coach on the field. He's one of these guys that not only gets the offense going, but the defense feeds off his energy as well. I think they're going to need him in the passing game. They're going to need him to maybe match up against this good group of linebackers. It's going to be fun to watch today here, Jack.
Well, these two matching up for a 7th time. In some ways, you could say it maybe wasn't truly a rivalry until Texas State got the monkey off their back a year ago. A 49-10 win in San Marcos. Texas State did win the toss, and they elected to receive, so they'll get aggressive right off the bat. It'll be UTSA to kick it away with Jaffer Murphy. Away we go. In the battle for I-35, it'll be a touchback. And we will see the Texas State offense operate from the 25 with a redshirt freshman at quarterback in Brad Jackson. He played his final year of high school ball at San Antonio over at Reagan, had an outstanding year, first 3 years of ball in Houston, but he's kind of said, hey, it's a little bit of a homecoming, but I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on leading our team in a road environment.
Yeah, when we talked to Coach Kenny, the first thing that he said was, hey, I've got a ton of confidence in him, and that is the one position, Jack, on the field. You need that player to have as much confidence you possibly have. I thought he was fantastic last week against Eastern Michigan. The ball barely touched the ground. His decision-making off the charts.
He's going to air it out on first down and open Bo Sparks, and it's knocked away. So that's great coverage in the back end from K.K. Meyer, the Nevada transfer. And a couple of good plays last week. And they go deep on first down.
Yeah, I like the play call. You're in a hostile environment. You want to shock the world early. That is a fantastic recovery by Meyer. This pass is open, but it's just a little bit too much air on that pass. Otherwise, that might have been a big play back the other way.
On second down, it's a quick hit to Sparks. Last week for Sparks, who was a junior from El Paso, he had 4 touchdowns. He tied the Texas State record. He had 7 catches, by the way, so that's a pretty good ratio of touchdowns to receptions, considering he had 9 touchdowns of his first 99 career catches.
Yeah, I really like Sparks. I think that's going to be a tough matchup against this UTSA defense because they don't have a ton of depth at linebacker, and Sparks is going to be inside. And so that matchup is favorable, certainly towards the Bobcats.
Doing that time on the grounds.
I don't think he got it. I think he's going to be about the length of the football short.
Elijah Newell made the stop on Perry. And let's see again.
Yeah, he had to get to the 35. So he's just inside, Jack, about the 34 and a half.
It was actually Tyon Milton And they're going to send out the punting unit and not mess around here on 4th and 1, although G.J. Kinney can often get very aggressive. So David Nunez, former walk-on who was given a scholarship in August, will punt. He punted all of one time last week when the Bobcats put up 52 points. The dangerous David Amador waves for a fair catch right around the 25-yard line. And we will see UTSA's offense for the first time, led by Owen McCown, who last time he faced Texas State, he was sort of doing what Brad Jackson's doing today, going into a road environment for the first time. Now he's a veteran. He's got command of this offense. Had a sensational season a year ago, trying to build upon that.
Yeah, and if there's one player that can rebound from a year ago, it's this young man here. I think he's got everything that you need to play quarterback. He's got a big-time arm. He's tough as nails. But what's more important, Jack, is what's between his ears. He makes the right decisions, and with the talent around him, this offense is just as explosive as it's been since Coach Traylor's been at UTSA.
On first down, Robert Henry Jr. And he plunges forward for a couple.
Now, when we talked to the offensive coordinator, Justin Burke, he said, yes, I do script my plays. So look for the first 10 to 15 plays to be scripted. Good look at Coach Traylor there.
You can see his record, 29-3 home mark. UTSA has won 10 straight here at home, tying their program record. Empty set. On 2nd and 8. McCown with time. And he's shoved down with a big hit in the secondary. That's Khalil Alexander.
Oh, boy. This is where you take your medicine here. You got to slide. You cannot go toe-to-toe with number 2 in defense. He's arguably their best defender. And what an outstanding play in the open field. Covers a lot of ground. That just goes to show you there, Jack, how tough McCown is. Let's get up from that one.
Well, think about this, too. Brandon Tennyson, the backup now, has to come in because McCown's helmet got knocked off. On 3rd and 4, Tennyson's a redshirt sophomore from Gilmer, Texas, out of Gilmer High, and Jeff Traylor is going to take a timeout. And part of that reason is you get to have Owen and McCown come back in the game. Big 3rd and 4 coming after this for UTSA. Well, G.J. Kinney has been able to do something that has not been accomplished in more than 40 years. That's back-to-back seasons with 8 or more wins for the Texas State Bobcats. He's in year number 3. His first head coaching stint was at Incarnate Word right down the road here in San Antonio, who UTSA will face next week. And, of course, he is Jeff Traylor's former high school quarterback. More on that as we go, but first things first, these two, little chess match here on 3rd down and 4, and Owen McCown can now come back in the game.
Yeah, that was a good call there by Coach Traylor to get a starter back into the game, and that just shows you how vital and important this 3rd down here early in the game.
UTSA last week 5 for 16 on 3rd down. They rush 4 to the outside. That's incomplete. Very good coverage from Ryan Nolan, the free safety.
And that's a fantastic job. UTSA is going to empty the backfield, so now you've got 5 eligible receivers. This defense so talented that they can match up man-to-man, and I like that matchup with Ryan Nolan there. That's the safety coming down underneath. Great defensive call by the defensive coordinator, Dexter McCoyle. And the defense is getting off the field now, Jack.
Now, this was a problem spot last week for UTSA punting. It's not every day you go up against Casey Concepcion on an 80-yard punt return touchdown, but Bo Sparks dangerous too, so Cale Hogan's got to be careful. And that's a bad snap, and it goes all the way back to the end zone, and Hogan is wisely going to just push it through for a safety. And Texas State strikes first. 2 points in a very unique way.
Yeah.
Wow. So again, the punt issues continue here in Game 2 of the season for UTSA.
Yeah, and that's just one thing under Coach Traylor since he's been here. Special teams has been kind of the advantage. But here of late, it's put them behind the 8 ball. And that's not the way you want to start this game out. That's a heads-up play right there by the punter.
Now you can see Isaac Hatfield, who is the grad transfer from Northern Illinois, the long snapper for UTSA, having a little talking to on the sidelines. They had a pretty veteran operation over the last few years. This is a newer group.
Jack, take a look at this snap. That's the snap if you do the rugby-style punting that we've come accustomed to over the years. And they very well could have gotten their signals crossed on that. The punter might have said, hey, we're stationary, and everybody else in the snapper thought, hey, we're going to more Australian rule style. Little things like that can cost you. Now you put your defense in a hole here. You're going to have to defend now by 2 points.
And by the way, you bring up the rugby-style punt in Australia because Cale Hogan is from Australia. Yeah. He'll often punt that way. But that is a miscue you can ill afford in a game like this.
Yeah, you go back and look at that. Everybody else was in pretty good position. That ball missed the protectors. And the only thing missing was the punter obviously not being on the same page there. I don't want to point blame to be anybody, but that's certainly what it looked like there.
So now they'll kick it away with Joffrey Murphy. And a little bit of room to return for Jalen Jenkins. He's out across the 35, and you give this Texas State offense field position, it can often be trouble.
Oh, my goodness. It is some hopping going down on the field today. Hey, these two teams know each other very well, especially the coaching staffs. You talked about it, Jack, but these players have played against each other in high school. They know each other, and the rivalry's certainly growing. And this offense, I'm telling you, since Coach Kinney has been there, one of the best offenses in the nation.
Look at those numbers. One of 8 teams over 3,000 pass yards and 2,500 rush yards a year ago in FBS. It's a first down run for Torrance Burgess Jr.
Here they go with a little bit of tempo. You get positive yards on first down. Keep the momentum here.
Burgess again, and he's a couple of yards shy of the line to get, which is the 45. They have a staple of running backs. We mentioned Perry, but Burgess can run the ball. Burrell had 80 rush yards last week, and you saw Jenkins on the kickoff.
I think they can put just about anybody back there with this big offensive line. This is one of the bigger offensive lines in the nation, and if they get their hands on you, you're in trouble.
And this guy can run it too. Their quarterback, Brad Jackson, has got a first down. So he keeps and gets near midfield to move the chains for Texas State.
Yeah, that's a nice play call there. Offensive coordinator Landon Keppel kind of mixing it up, but now he's starting to put the onus on his guys up front to lead here.
Texas State, as you can see, goes very quick whenever they possibly can. Brad Jackson on the keeper that time. McKenny Ozawalu on the stop, the redshirt freshman from San Antonio, local product. Already 4 minutes gone by in this opening quarter. I don't think many tuning in expected a 2-0 scoreline, but that's what happens when UTSA allows their first safety in a decade. Last time was September of 2015 against Colorado State. Perry, the running back, on 2nd and 8. Here he is with a little jump cut. And he's got a chunk. And they're 3 yards shy of the line again.
Yeah, now you're looking at the game within the game. We know UTSA is going to platoon probably 10 to 12 defensive linemen up front. But the 5 guys in white on this offensive line, they average 323 pounds a man. They're going to be the constant. And right now, they are winning the war of the trenches. And that's exactly what this offense wants to do.
Empty set on 3rd and 3. They rush 4. Pass deflected and intercepted. UTSA's got themselves a takeaway. It's Shad Banks, the TCU transfer, with a huge play. And his first pick as a road runner gets them off and running here at home.
Well, I was going to wonder when just left, the defensive coordinator was going to bring some pressure. This time he brings a free releaser, and he gets untouched, and he gets in there to the quarterback, and that was enough to make the pass go off the mark, and that's exactly what the road runners needed. The defense needed to certainly step up.
They brought Brandon Tucker on the blitz, and Shad Banks, who the coaches were just raving about. A guy who initially was a wide receiver at Texas A&M in the spring of 2021, transferred to TCU, was on that team that went to the national title game in 2022, started the Big 12 title game that year, and now he makes a great play for the defense and sets up Owen McCown in this offense. Robert Henry Jr. to the ground. He gets a gain of 2 on first down. Stop from Aiden Jones. Again, this is a coaching staff that was just raving about this guy. You can see his trajectory. 7 tackles a week ago in his debut as a road runner. 114 in his TCU career. His best season was in 2023 after an injury-riddled season a year ago. He's back and playing well.
And the coach's 2A man just said he's a good kid, he's a good human. Even Traylor said might be the best linebacker in 6 years they've seen here on campus.
McCown going deep and is reeled in. Oh, he dropped that one in a bucket. And a beautiful reception from Devin McEwen. 1st and goal to go.
Well, I think McCown's one of the better deep pass throwers in the FBS, and this is exactly why. You identify the matchup you want. They played man-to-man on the outside. And Devin McEwen, I'm telling you, if you don't know who that is right now, get used to him. He is a big-time player on the outside playing receiver.
1st and goal. McCown to the air again. A back shoulder look. That is incomplete.
That's awfully close out there. They're letting them play. Jaden Rios there, Jack, excuse me.
Well, you mentioned him. He was the guy covering McEwen on the last one. He got the better of him that time.
And that's really the mark of a defensive back, right? You've got to have a short memory. You may get beat a couple of times, but you got to come back and battle that next play. Credit Jaden Rios there.
Rios is an East Texas A&M transfer, formerly Texas A&M Commerce, was an FCS All-American a season ago. On 2nd and goal, and there's nothing doing that time. So they're able to stack up the run game. Khalil Alexander shoots the gap, and it'll be 3rd and goal.
Yeah, great adjustment here by Dexter McCoyle. This time he keeps the pressure. You know, we talk about passes getting a blitz. That time it was a run blitz by the defense, and Khalil Alexander comes in untouched.
On 3rd and goal at the 9. McCown against 5, over the middle, and reaching towards the goal line. It may be millimeters short. So they went to Dan Dishman, the tight end. He did everything he could to stretch it out. And I think both of us will be stunned if they're not going here.
Yeah, I think you got to go here. Watch this. Here it is. It's another one-on-one matchup. Last time, Ryan Nolan got the better of that matchup. This time here, it looks like Dishman almost gets this thing in.
4th and goal inside the 1.
Boy, with the bigger running back down here.
Amarion Peterson gets the handoff. He's pushing towards the goal line, and Texas State stuffs him. What a stop for the Bobcat defense as they turn away UTSA on downs inside the 1. What an answer for Texas State to a terrific UTSA drive. The run defense up to the task that time. Longy. Amapalazzi Longy Jr. makes the stop on 4th down for Texas State. They now take over at their own 1, but they get the huge stop on 4th down and goal of UTSA. Perry looking for something, and he gets a touch of breathing. All right, back to the 4th down stop for the Bobcat defense.
Now watch the penetration here. I thought for a split second it was going to be a walk-in, but right there, it's a little bit of a stalemate, and Longy's one of the first guys there. And then you have the cavalry as well, Jordan Saunders as well. That's outstanding defense. Now offensively for the Bobcats, your work is not done. You got to take care of the ball down here.
Brad Jackson And he skates through some tacklers and has enough for a first down.
Oh, my goodness.
Showing off the wheels. Whew.
Are you kidding me right now? I mean, you've got to be William Wallace to do this down at the goal line, go across the rest of the defense and come back on the other end. Not only do they get a first down, but it gives them space in case they do have to eventually end up having to punt. Wow, that was fun. That's impressive right there.
Jackson to throw. And on the sideline, he's got Sparks. Those two connect again. That is Sparks' second catch. You know, Brad Jackson is a senior at Reagan High here in San Antonio. He totaled about 3,000 yards of offense. More than 500 of those were on the ground. So for as much as he could sling it, and he was over 2,400 passing yards, yeah, he can run it too. There's a look at what he did in his high school career. How about nearly 10,000 yards of total offense, plus 120 touchdowns.
You know, he's that quarterback that's a younger version of G.J. Kinney. When G.J. Kinney was in high school, he was a lot like Mr. Jackson as well.
Lincoln Perry is knocked to the turf after a gain of a couple. Owen Peewee, the redshirt junior money linebacker, makes the stop. He is their leading returning tackler on a defense that lost every single starter from a year ago.
And that's a lot of shoes to certainly fill. But they've been doing a great job. We talked to Coach Lepp, the defensive coordinator. He said last week the effort was outstanding. It was certainly there. They didn't get pushed around. I think they're getting pushed around a little bit right now up front. They have got to bow their necks. And here's a great down and distance to do that now.
3rd and 2. Jackson on the keep. And he's taken down. He's right near the line to gain, a little bit shy. Elijah Newell, one of the safeties, makes the stop. And that's a good response by this Roadrunners defense.
Well, you're saying it. Watch the discipline here. Owen Peewee, he's staying backside. And that's the thing when you play Brad Jackson. He is going to run all over the field. The play might be going right, but he's thinking all the way back on the other side. Yeah, that's a great job, Jack. I agree with you as far as the defense. You maintain field position as well.
David Nunez is probably wondering what's going on here. Punted one time all last week, twice in the first quarter. David Amador waves for a fair catch right around the 40. It'll be good field position once again for UTSA. Roadrunners trying to get on the board here at home, down 2-0. Texas State with a safety to put themselves in front early. Well, Jeff Traylor and G.J. Kinney go back a ways. First, Jeff Traylor coached G.J. in high school at Gilmer his senior year. They were on staff together at SMU in Arkansas, 2017 and 2018, respectively, under Chad Morris. G.J. was actually in the wedding of Jeff's son, Jordan. So the ties go far beyond the football field with these two.
Boy, I'm telling you, and it's fantastic to hear both of them describe it, right, and talk about it. You just look at them and say, man, this is incredible. And I think it's no secret that they do not really enjoy playing against each other for sure.
That ball's knocked away from David Amador. And a nice defensive play from Will Mitchell II, the nickelback for this Texas State defense. You know, these two, the way that they went about the press conferences and the media this week, a little bit different than a year ago when it was 5-0 in this head-to-head rivalry. And then Texas State got on the board in a big way. Robert Henry Jr., meanwhile, breaks free near midfield. He can do that to you if you're not disciplined. Bobby Crosby maybe saved a touchdown.
Boy, you said it right. And now you see this offensive line starting to get back in sync. This is one of the more experienced offensive lines, certainly in the American. And there it is, a nice gash up the middle.
Henry again. Stop made from Amapalazzi Longi Jr., the guy who made the goal line stop on that goal line stand for this Texas State defense. He's on his third school in 6 years of college football. Hawaii native, 2 years at Houston, 2 years at Independence Community College in Kansas prior to his time at San Marcos. Inside 3.5 to play in this opening quarter. It's Henry, and he's stacked up that time. So they sniffed it out.
Henry on the
Jordan Sanders has been involved in a bunch of plays, as has Longi.
Yeah, those two big guys up front are being disruptive. And they see this play all the time, more likely in practice. So they see the guards and tackle pull. Their first instinct is to get on the hip of those guards and tackle pulling and get in the backfield and disrupt the timing.
UTSA 0 of 2 so far on third down. They need the 40. And a flag.
Man, that's a little quick movement on the offensive line. This one's going to move back 5 here.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
That's a 6th-year redshirt senior Jalen Garth, the right tackle.
And I think he probably could have called Trevor Timmons as well. He was quick to get out of his stance. He's pulling back to the right side. And, you know, this offense last week was not good on third down. Now, they were playing Texas A&M. They were 31%. But I don't care. Against this defense, you do not want to have third and long for sure.
McCown dumps it off. And Henry will squirm free for a couple of yards. But this Texas State defense is doing its job early in this first quarter in San Antonio.
Yeah, just so many outstanding athletes across the field, and they're very athletic up front. And at time, Tamir Jackson, number 0, he didn't get caught looking in the backfield, stayed at home, and lo and behold, he was there to make the tackle on the running back screen. This defense is good. Both these teams have outstanding similarities in the sense that they're very athletic. They run to the football so well.
Another punt for Cale Hogan. He didn't get one off last time. It went for a safety on a bad snap. This one lands and rolls inside the 5. A little bit better than a punt try that resulted in a safety last go-around.
Yeah, that's good execution there by the special teams, and that's the kind of things that can keep you close in a game, right? You keep that field position going back the other way. Give your defense a chance.
So Texas State will take over again offensively. Some storylines heading into the season. Charles Huff leaves Marshall to go to Hattiesburg in the Southern Miss. 50 players leaving Marshall. He took a bunch with him. James Madison, the success they've had, it's rolled along even after Curt Cignetti, the success he's had in Indiana. And then Texas State, of course, back-to-back 8-win seasons, their best at the FBS level, trying to continue that. It's a first down run. They've gotten the ground game going early, which is what they wanted to do. Both teams wanted to do it. Perry chews off half the chains on first down.
And this offense, make no mistake about it, yeah, they like to fling it all over the field. You've got 500+ yards total offense. Obviously, they had 600 yards of total offense last week. But let's not kid ourselves. This is a physical running football team.
Perry again. He lunges toward the line to gain. He didn't get there, about a yard shy. Tyan Milton makes the tackle. He's been active in this first half.
Well, the difference that you're seeing in both these offenses, Texas State is having success on first down. And when you have success on first down, the playbook is open on second. And now you have even more success with third and short. That's how offenses stay on the field and can rack up a ton of points.
It's Perry again. And to your point, when you've only got a little bit of yardage to get, things are significantly easier. That was just enough to move the chains.
Boy, I'm telling you, you keep things simple, right? You can get into 3rd and 1. Anything's at your disposal. And the way this offensive line has been blocking, you got to like your chances there to pick it up with the run game.
So the first quarter will wind down. You can see Lincoln Perry pumped up. Either that or frustrated with something, but he did get enough for that first down. And we will change sides. G.G. Kinney's Texas State Bobcats. A 2-0 lead after one, just the way we drew it up in San Antonio. Start of the second quarter here at the Alamo Dome, where UTSA has won 10 consecutive home games, matching its longest home win streak in program history. But they're down 2-0 to Texas State, their I-35 rivals, as we look at the head-to-head here. So in January 2020, they agreed to a 10-game series through 2031. UTSA was 5-0 until last year in San Marcos, when Texas State took it to them. Jackson lofting deep for Sparks, and he's got him in stride. Chased down inside the 10. A touchdown saving stop on the run from Davin Martin, but there's the connection again. Jackson to Sparks.
Yeah, UTSA is so concerned about the running game. They sell out with the run blitz, but it leads the secondary one-on-one. And that's an outstanding route there by both Sparks. He gets in behind the defensive back, but the pass is on the money.
A cut for Burgess. He's stacked up after a short game.
I think Brad Jackson's arm is electric. That pass didn't have a whole ton of air. Didn't have a whole lot of air. It was on an absolute rope, and it was a strike. And all Bo Sparks had to do was just put his hands out and keep the gas pedal down running.
That's a 73-yard catch for Sparks, as Jackson looks to the air again, and that time incomplete. He was going for Blake Smith, his tight ends.
Yeah, he missed him, Jack. He missed him that time. That's exactly what they want. They want that 2-on-2 on the outside, and you want your bigger player coming back to the middle. It's almost like a power forward in basketball. He was going to post up. That pass had to be inside.
So 3rd down and 6. Feels like a must-force field goal situation here for the UTSA defense.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They've got to keep everybody accounted for. Keep your eye on the quarterback here running.
Jackson on a crosser. That is caught by Sparks inside the 2. And we'll see where they officially spot it. And we'll see if Texas State wants to go.
Good route. Good coverage on the outside by Martin. Sparks is tough to cover, I'm telling you. Just because he can play inside and he can play outside, and his size creates mismatch problems, and he's quick as a cat and got good in-ball skills inside. So that's pretty good coverage there by Davin Martin.
Well, you're not among the nation's leaders in scoring if you don't go for it a bunch on 4th down and get aggressive. That's what G.J. Kinney's doing here. Jackson's under center. Perry leaps. He's shy. He fell short of the goal line. And UTSA returns the favor. Now, there was still a possibility of a 1st down and goal. Texas State's saying they got it. And I think they may have just gotten it, and they did.
Here it is, ground level. Let's see. He had to get to at least the 1.
Oh, that is so close.
Boy, hard to tell. Now, when he falls down, eventually he ends up at about the 1 or just inside the 1-yard line.
Previous play, the runner making the line to gain for a 1st down is under further review.
Charles Lamartina, by the way, is our referee today. He's already been a busy man, and we will get our first review. Whoever had the mark at 12:59 in the second quarter, congrats. We'll take a break as they review. It's either a 1st down and goal at the 1 or a turnover on downs for Texas State. So we just got the call. It was upheld. That's the new language in college football this year. Not enough to overturn.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, right? Because the call on the field was that he did get the first down, and there's just not enough evidence or inconclusive evidence to overturn the call. And so, yes, it is upheld. Big call there by that line judge. Big situation here by this defense of UTSA to get a stop at least.
They pitch it to Perry. And he's stuffed on first down and goal. They might have lost a little bit.
Boy, that's a heck of a play. Watch Owen Pee-wee. He's number 7. Or excuse me, Jimmy Wyrick. Owen Pee-wee used to wear 7. See, it confused a little bit, but Jimmy Wyrick, he comes up from the safety position, Jack, and he's the first guy to really turn that thing back into the meat of the defense.
A triangle of toughness, buddy. Owen Pee-wee got the bump to number 2.
Yeah.
Those 2-1-0 numbers, the most important in the program. It's Perry pushing himself towards the goal line. Touchdown. Texas State is in for 6, and Lincoln Perry is pumped up. G.J. Kinney's group has an 8-0 lead on the road.
Say what you want about this offense, that they're all about yards, they're all about slinging it all over the field. This is a power-running football team, and they don't mess around when they get inside the 5-yard line. Here it is. It's just we're going to line up, and we're going to zone block and man-to-man block your guys up front. And we don't think you can stop our back to get where we need to go.
Tyler Robles is the kicker for Texas State. Both of these programs are replacing veteran kickers over the last few years. And the extra point is up and through. So Texas State able to strike. How about a 10-play, 95-yard drive? And they're up 9-0 on the road. A 10-play, 95-yard touchdown drive from Texas State, capped by a Lincoln Perry touchdown rush. And they are up 9-0 here in San Antonio, trying to win at the Alamo Dome against UTSA for the first time in program history.
Yeah, Well, it's always a tough environment to play on the road anywhere else, but if you want to go a little bit south, an hour away to this building, it's even tougher, I believe, as well. And they have come in here and executed their game plan, Jack, and I think their defense initially set the tone. And then that offensive line got it going. And I'm telling you, Brad Jackson is as accurate as anybody, certainly in the Sun Belt Conference in the American, throwing the ball downfield.
Touch back to the 25, drive recap. Bo Sparks got it all going. How about Brad Jackson delivering a 73-yard dime?
Yeah, here it is. They're trying to man up on the outside, but Bo Sparks just too fast. He runs right by Martin, and the pass is on the money. And here it is. This is where you got to own your money. And then he gets the first down, doesn't score, but make no mistake about it, they're going to come right back and leave behind this big offensive line to cap it off.
So UTSA down 9-0 here in their home opener. They are 4-1 in home openers under Jeff Traylor. The only loss was against Houston in 2022 in a game that went to 3 overtimes. McCown, and on a slant he's got McEwen. Part of that Mac attack. You add in Willie McCoy to the trifecta. That's a gain of 16 on first down.
Now, I love this. This is a staple in this offense under Coach Justin Burke. You get that receiver sprint out wide, and then he's just foot race to the inside, and here it is. This is a good shot of it there. You get that inside position, and the ball is on the money.
Play action again. And McCown just dumps that one at the feet of his tight end, Houston Thomas. Good pressure from safety Ryan Nolan, lead returning tackler on this defense. So what have you seen defensively from Texas State that's maybe flustered this UTSA offense?
I just think this defense is overly aggressive. Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. Here today, they have been a step ahead of this UTSA offense, and they're beating the guys in front of them. They're not doing anything too fancy. It's just, hey, we're going to lit back and we're going to play football, and we think we can beat the guy in front.
McCown with time to throw, lofting it sideline, and that's incomplete. Off the hands of A.J. Wilson, who caught a 34-yard touchdown late in the game in College Station from backup Brandon Tennyson last week. There is a flag.
Penalty flag on the play. Holding. Offense number 55. Second penalty. Second down.
So that goes on Kamar Missouri, the left tackle, another veteran, a 6th-year redshirt senior. You think about the penalties in the offensive line. This team played in front of more than 107,000 fans at Kyle Field last week. Not a single pre-snap penalty.
Yeah, you know, we talked to the coaches.
Texas State has declined a penalty. It's third down.
Yeah, that's a good decision. And, you know, we talked to the coaches. They said they just wanted to play clean week 1. And that's exactly what they did. And, you know, Coach Traylor, you talked to him, felt like a couple of things go differently. That game may look a little differently. And so, you know, they felt good coming out of last week against A&M. And here today, right now, they just have not met the intensity of Texas State's defense so far.
They're 0 for 3 on third down. This is 3rd and 10. McCown steps up. He's got room to run. And he'll slide down right around the 45 of Texas State. UTSA back into Bobcat territory.
Yeah, Jack, put a little reminder on that play, because that's the one thing that can get this defense out of sync. When they have accounted for everything else, they don't account for the quarterback's ability to get outside of the pocket. I've always been a big proponent of quarterbacks taking it upon themselves to make the defense get uncomfortable, and that play right there by McCown could get this offense back on track.
Running back is Will Henderson III. From the 45, and that was going nowhere. And a little pitch looking for Patrick Overmeyer, and it was absolutely blown up by Jordan Sanders, the transfer from Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo.
Yeah, they're having a hard time blocking Jordan Sanders.
He had a TFL last week, had 6 TFLs and 3 sacks in his 3-year Mustang career with Cal Poly. Dad Dwayne played at Washington State. After a loss of 2, 2nd and 12. McCown, open man, and that's Henderson. And that's a first down.
And you might get a little bit extra at the end of this, too. It might be a roughing the passer, Jack, on the back end of this play. That's outstanding quarterback play by McCown.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, defense number 99. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
Well, Longy's done a lot of good things this first half. This isn't one of them, but great look there by McCown.
What a great side adjustment here by the running back, first and foremost. But then second of all, McCown steps into the pocket there and holds its ground and delivers at the last moment. And then the icing on the cake is the roughing the penalty. This is what you need, right? You're down 9. This is how you can get yourself going, getting back into this red zone here.
One of those had-to-have-it drives for UTSA. Inside the red zone for the second time. Thomas, the tight end, in motion. McCown to Wilson, who snares it inside the 2 and rolls himself near the goal line. He's down at the 1. It'll be first and goal for UTSA.
That is about as good as a catch that you'll probably see anywhere today. Watch the lead here. You got to throw your guy open. And Wilson is with the defensive back hanging on to him, makes an outstretched grab across the middle. That's a big-time play. The upside on this young man is off the charts.
He's a transfer from Houston Christian in the FCS ranks, formerly Houston Baptist. Ended last year on a tear. First and goal at the 1. Peterson, second time the charm. Yes, sir, he's in. UTSA is on the board. Peterson, the USC transfer, with the first touchdown of his Roadrunner career. That was methodical from the offense.
Boy, just when they needed it, too. And how about the quarterback play by McCown, just standing there tough. Jack, he takes some shots, and then he's not seeing the field from time to time. He's getting pressured, but then comes back and throws, I think, 2 of his better passes of the day.
Michael Petro converts the extra point, taking over for the terrific Tate Sandell. What a response from UTSA. 8 plays, 75 yards. And Amarion Peterson into the end zone to make it a 2-point game. UTSA is on the board here. A little more than 9 to play in this second quarter. A 75-yard drive in 8 plays took a little more than 3 minutes, and Amarion Peterson, the USC transfer, caps it with his first touchdown as a Roadrunner.
And that was a fantastic response, and you got to have that. And that was the one thing that could get this offense going. And I said it, hey, with the quarterback scramble to break down the defense, to give them some extra plays on the down and distance, it kind of freed things up a little bit, and then they cash it off with a touchdown. Now it gives their defense just a little bit time to rest and a little bit more here to defend.
Jalen Jenkins. He's had some room to run on a few of these returns. The kick and punt return coverage continues to be a storyline for UTSA. All right, looking back at that last drive, what stuck out to you?
Yeah, here we go. This is it. This is the big play that I thought that really got him going. Slipping the running back out in the backfield, and here it is, an absolute dime outside to Wilson to make that play. And then you cannot play around down here around the goal line. This offensive line is just as good as well. And they cash it off. McCown is what the coaches say, a pro's pro. He's no nonsense at practice. He gets everything going, and it comes out in the game, and he's an excellent leader.
You can see his numbers to start. He's had a couple of big scrambles in addition to that last series throwing. Brad Jackson back to work. He'll hand it off to his trusty veteran running back, Lincoln Perry, who so far in this game has rushed it 12 times. He's been bottled up pretty well, only 26 yards. Cam Blaylock makes the stop. Grad transfer from Tennessee State. Jackson with blindside pressure coming. Going for Sparks again. Incomplete with Tyan Milton out in coverage. He's been a busy man today for UTSA.
Yeah, Milton, that's a fantastic job because you're running. You don't know when that pass is going to be thrown, so you almost have to look in the receiver's eyes, and if they get big, then you kind of throw your hands up at the last minute and watch Milton right there, just enough to get in the way. Bo Sparks is kind of wanting to call. I don't think so. That was a pretty good defensive play.
Texas State is 2 for 6 on 3rd down today. They rush 4. Jackson dumps it off. Big time hit. Shad Banks is having himself a game. He had the pick earlier. He's got the big hit there. And Texas State will have to punt once again.
Well, Jack, take a look at this. When this offense goes to 10 personnel, that's 4 wide receivers, 1 running back. Shad Banks' assignment is the running back. And he just spies it, and then once that screen pass developed, there was nobody out there to block him, and he had an easy clean and tackle there.
Another punt for David Nunez. Amador. He's got a little room if he wants to return. Makes a juke, and he's stuffed right around that spot. Tackled by Ryan Nolan. Well, looking back to last year's meeting, we mentioned UTSA won the first 5 in this battle for I-35, but it was all Texas State a year ago in San Marcos, led by Jordan McLeod.
Yeah, they had no answer for Jordan McLeod. That offense finished with 504 yards of total offense, and Perry, he had 109 yards rushing on only 11 carries and 2 scores. So this offense was in peak form in this moment, and they never really looked back from that point on, Jack, in my opinion.
49-10, the largest margin of victory in the rivalry. Of course, the first win in the rivalry for Texas State. There was momentarily a concern with the Roadrunner, and they've gotten that figured out. Well, last year, one guy we mentioned last year had a huge game was Chris Dawn Jr., the other receiver alongside Bo Sparks. He's been very quiet so far. In fact, only Sparks and Perry have catches. You can see what is at stake for these two teams. Texas State not only trying for a second straight win against UTSA, but they're trying to start 2-0 in back-to-back seasons. Actually, for back-to-back seasons for the first time in more than 40 years. McCown lofting, sideline incomplete.
I don't think he saw it, Jack. I think he was so concerned about the defensive back. Wilson didn't look back towards the ball. And that's what you're going to see throughout this game. Both these defenses like to challenge the receivers on the outside because they're so concerned about the running game. You've got to commit 7, 8 guys in the box. And so the one-on-one matchup right now has been very, very difficult.
Henry's cut down.
Robert Henry on the carry.
First man on the scene was Bobby Crosby, 6th-year senior safety.
Brings up 36.
And another 3rd down.
Yeah, Jack, what did we say in the first quarter? 3rd downs and shorts, right? And here's the difference. We saw Texas State, their 3rd downs were 3rd down and 4 or less. Here we are again with UTSA. They've got a 3rd and medium here, 6, maybe a long 6.5, maybe 7.
They need the 30. McCown. And that pass is tipped up in the air and incomplete. It was in a dangerous spot. All kinds of movement with it up in the air. Traylon Payne, the middle linebacker, got his hands all over it. Had a career-high 9 tackles last week in their opening win over Eastern Michigan. And it's a punt coming for UTSA.
This Texas State defense has been impressive. I mean, they are all over the football field. They're taking away any kind of the short intermediate passing game. And so the dink and dunk has not been effective. And especially if you try to check it down to your running back, this defense is all over it.
Cale Hogan to punt again. Last one he pinned Texas State inside its 5. This one not nearly as good. It's knocked forward. Sparks touched it. UTSA grabs it. And the Roadrunners, it's not going to matter because they touched it first.
Yeah, they killed it.
Yeah, it looked like they touched it around, what, the 25 or so.
I ain't going to talk about it, at least.
You can see right there, it was tipped by Kenyon Kelly.
I know what should happen, but the fact that they're still having a conversation might be more where it actually was hit.
I was wondering why there was still movement after Kenyon Kelly clearly knocked that ball forward with his hands, which you can't do. Otherwise, everybody would do it. There's a reason why it's so hard to place a punt inside the 5.
Touch by the kicking team at the 36-yard line. It will be placed there where it will be Texas State's ball. First down.
It's a Texas State ball. Up 9-7, up just under the midway point of the 2nd quarter. Well, the American on ESPN Plus is home to 40+ college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information and to sign up, visit ESPN.com. Coming up later tonight, in fact, how about Bill Belichick heading to Charlotte to take on the 49ers? Coverage beginning at 7 Eastern only on ESPN Plus.
Did you ever thought you would be able to say that line?
No, I did not. Handoff there to Jalen Jenkins, and he's met in the backfields for a loss. Tackle from Marcellus Wilkerson. One of those money linebackers. Bill Belichick got a heavy dose of the UTSA run game last week. Kevorian Barnes, the UTSA transfer, ran all over his Tar Heels.
Well, I'm telling you, that TCU Horned Frogs offense is lethal. And yeah, Kevorian Barnes doing what he used to do in this stadium, actually.
Jackson, wide open man, and there is Chris Don Jr. He's loose inside the 15. And he makes his presence known with a huge play in the pass game. Quiet no more.
Yeah, this is just a bust in the secondary. They lose track of Don. Watch the quarterback's eyes. He's looking middle of the field. All the while, he's just letting that route develop downfield. You know, the pass protection is outstanding. And either one of these quarterbacks, if they have time, they're going to burn you because these receivers are just about as good as you can find them.
Jamarius Lewis, who was questionable coming in, made that tackle. And a spin move here from Jenkins. So Chris Don Jr. You mentioned a moment ago he had a huge game last year against UTSA. 5 catches for 150 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
And that's pretty good.
Back to the ground game. And that time, Jenkins can't find a lot of room against Jamie Buxton. They call him Big Baby, and we've got an injured roadrunner down here. Chidera Otutu.
Timeout for injured defensive player.
Sophomore from Pflugerville, Texas. And is shaken up. We'll take a quick break. 3rd and 8 coming up for Texas State, up 2. No. You can see Chidera Otutu, the sophomore from Pflugerville, Texas, walking off with some help. Here's the play.
Boy, heck of a play. Then he gets up and celebrates. And I guess he felt something there.
He did run into a Bobcat when he was getting up, partner. I don't know if that had part of it, but either way. 3rd down facing Texas State. Now they can get 1st and goal right around the 2. Running back is Jenkins. Redshirt freshman Brad Jackson waves him in motion. Jackson keeps, and he's in for 6. How about this young redshirt freshman Brad Jackson showing off the Jets and the Bobcats. Back up by 8. There is a flag. There's a roadrunner down as well. Again, called a touchdown, but let's see.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 74 for taunting the opposing player. 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
All right, so the touchdown stands. Talik Lockett, their right guard, gets called for the personal on Vic Shaw.
Unsportsmanlike conduct foul towards disqualification.
And it doesn't take away from Brad Jackson and what he's doing with both his arm and his legs in his first road start.
I'm telling you, he's been fun to watch, and they can run anything in their offense with Brad Jackson. And the read option game, it is going to be very, very difficult to slow this down because he's such a run threat and he can hit you at any time.
So Jackson has a rushing score. Texas State very quickly responds in 5 plays and 49 yards, a little more than 2.5 minutes for G.J. Kinney's bunch. Nothing new for this vertical offense, the way they pass it, the way they run it. You know, you think air raid, you think air it out in the passing game, but the way they can also run it in the balance has created the way that they are so dynamic and the way they've been dynamic since G.J. Kinney arrived.
What did Coach Kinney tell us this week? He says, we are a vertical run game and play action pass. And what have we seen today? vertical run game and play action pass. And the play action pass, Jack, it has not been a dink and dunk. It has been these right here, taking shots down the field because this defense has to commit to the run to slow it down. And then when you sprinkle in a little wrinkle like this, it's an inverted read option where your quarterback is just reading the end man, and if he bites down, it's an automatic pull, and he makes the defensive back, and I think that's Jacavian Rogers, number 27 on the outside. He makes him look like he's in quicksand. You got yourself a big-time offense. It'll be tough to do what they did a year ago, but if they keep playing like this, they're definitely going to be flirting with a lot of records at Texas State.
Now you think about G.J. Kinney and his time as a head coach, which began at Incarnate Word. He had a guy by the name of Lindsey Scott who ended up winning the Walter Payton Award for the top player in the FCS. That was his 7th year of college football. Then he had T.J. Finley, who is still playing college football. He's now in his mid-20s. And, of course, Jordan McLeod, another veteran. So this is the first time he's had a young starter. It's also the first time he's had someone he's been able to develop for a little while coaching him. Pretty good return there. Out past the 30-yard line and near the 35 goes Mekhi Anderson. So UTSA back to work offensively. And again, Texas State won the toss, elected to receive. So UTSA has got a chance here, partner, to burn some clock, get the ball in the end zone, and they will get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, and it's still plenty of time, right? You got 2 timeouts remaining, so it's really no panic. You can run your normal offense right now because they know huddle predominantly anyway. You just have to be successful on first down. They have not been successful consistently today on first down.
McCown just has to swallow it. He had nowhere to go. Tymir Jackson greets him for a loss of 5 at the 30. He came in like a heat-seeking missile.
Yeah, this is the second time Tymir Jackson has just been playing right in the middle, watching the quarterback either give it or pull it. And at that mesh point, he's making a decision to go commit and get the quarterback, and he has been right. Again, if you're athletic on defense, and then the scheme on top of that, that is very, very tough for any offense to really kind of game plan against.
So UTSA calls timeout after that 5-yard loss. And you give Dexter McCoyle a lot of credit with what he's done with his defense here today. This is a guy who played in the NFL. He was teammates with G.J. Kinney in Tulsa. Those two go way back. There's connections all over when it comes to Tulsa and how many guys were there. Of course, Coach Lepp on the other side for UTSA. Jess Lepp was a coach at Tulsa and a coach of Dexter McCoyle's as well. But this guy, the way he's transformed their defense, say all you want about the offense, the defensive improvement's been really good.
It's been fun to watch today, and it also helps when you got talented guys, because all you got to do is tell them to get lined up, read your keys, and let's just play what's in front of us. But he hasn't really gotten exotic today. He hadn't had to, because his guys are so aggressive. The homework they've done on Monday of this week to get them prepared for a Saturday game is off the charts. My hat's off to him. He's been there 3 years. This is his 2nd year as the defensive coordinator, and his fingerprints all over this defense.
His defense 10th in the country in tackles for loss a year ago. McCown with room to run again. And he will dive ahead, close to the line to get.
And Jack, let me say something. I think the called runs for McCowan should be thrown out today, just for this game. This is where he's going to get the running yards coming out of the pocket, because they're not expecting him to run, and he can really break down a defense on passing situations.
Third down and 4. UTSA needs the 45 to move the chains.
And this is a big down here. You don't want to punt this ball back to the Bobcats.
They dump it off. Henderson has to make a move and does. He tiptoes the sideline, and he does have enough for a first down. So he's really become a threat in the pass game. Aiden Jones shoves him out of bounds as the clock moves to 3 minutes to go in this first half.
Yeah, that's a pretty experienced move by the redshirt freshman Henderson III. That's a staple in this offense. They like to get the running back coming out of the backfield matched up with the linebacker having to chase, and the linebacker having to come through traffic to get there. Good execution there.
Henderson again. He's also a track star. He shows off the wheels. And he's got another first down. When I say he's a track star, he is literally on the track and field team at UTSA also. And you can see the wheels.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's got great vision too. Look at this. That's only instincts, Jack. You really can't coach that. That's a feel thing for the running back. The play's designed to go to the right side. But out of his peripheral vision, he sees a seam. And like you said, he's a track athlete. He can get to top end speed very quickly.
See if UTSA wants to snap it prior to the 2-minute timeout. They won't.
2-minute timeout.
UTSA on the move. Trying to chip a little closer here late in the first half at home against Texas State.
Play resumes, ball at the 31-yard line, first and 10 runner.
We've reached the 2-minute timeout here in this first half. 7th installment of the battle for I-35. The Texas State Bobcats leading the UTSA Roadrunners 16-7. UTSA, though, on the move, and they get the ball to start the second half as well. So a chance to, in a way, bookend the half with scores. Devin McEwen, bottom of your screen. Willie McCoy at the top. It's Henderson again. It's been his drive, but they stack him up that time. Henderson, who had the 23-yard run moments ago. Kennard Snyder on the tackle. He's an Iowa State transfer on a defense that's filled with power conference transfers. 7 of them listed on the depth chart.
Yeah, it's just been very tough to run in between the two guards, right? It's the bulk of this defense. You got some big bodies in the middle. Very disrupted by that front of Texas State.
On 2nd and 10, McCown pumps now to the air, and breaking it tackles Houston Thomas. He's shoved out of bounds after picking up a first down. And UTSA
That's good for a runner first down.
on the move.
And we talked to Coach Burke. He said this tight end group's a little bit different than what we had in the past, meaning these are more prototypical type tight ends. And Houston Thomas, one of the better receiving tight ends on this team, does a fantastic job in space and catching the ball and then making a move after it.
They go empty here. Ball right at the 10. McCown against only a 3-man rush. Rifles over the middle. And McCoy's down near the 1. Actually, that's not McCoy. That's DJ Allen Jr. So the redshirt junior from Gladewater, Texas, has his second catch of the season.
Second and goal at the 1-yard line.
UTSA has been to the 1-yard line now 3 times. They're 1 for 2 getting the ball in the end zone. Remember, Texas State had that big first quarter stop. There is a flag, by the way. Now, never mind, just a towel, I think. From the 1. McCown to throw. Wide open, DJ Allen, touchdown. Back-to-back catches in the red zone for DJ Allen. And the Roadrunners right back to within 3 with 37 seconds to go before halftime in San Antonio.
Yeah, this is a great call here by Justin Burke. He set it up nice. Everybody in the building expected Robert Henry to get this handoff, but the play action pass was on point. And how about DJ Allen making 2 big-time grabs inside the 5-yard line there and the touchdown there. Here it is, Jack. As a quarterback, that mesh has got to be just a little bit enough to pull that defense in. And then Allen does a great job of just shutting it down. Nobody even knows where he's at. Great execution by the Roadrunners. That's what I'm talking about. These 2 teams responding now, Jack. And that's what we come to expect from both these programs today.
So 8 plays and 65 yards and a little more than 3 minutes. Haven't been a lot of lengthy scoring drives time-wise. Both of these teams have moved it fast today, the way we expected.
Well, you have to give them credit, right? These defenses have come to play. And if you ask the coaches again, hey, yeah, they knew it was going to be a challenge, and it's on us to go out there and execute. And I think both these teams have figured it out. The offense is starting to heat up on both sides here in the second quarter.
Now Jeff Traylor, 29-3 coaching here at home in the Alamo Dome. His team back within 2 as Jaffer Murphy gets set to do a little pooch kick.
Boy, I would have kicked that thing out of this place.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because Simpson calls for the fair catch. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world, but you talk about a 5-yard difference being the 30 or the 25, you kick a touchback.
And you got to squib that thing, get the clock running. Right now, you just give them a little bit of gift because all they're going to try to do is get a couple of chunk plays here to get in field position.
It's actually the 27 the ball will be placed at where he actually called for the fair catch. Well, to your point, I mean, this offense has 3 timeouts in 37 seconds. And one of the fastest moving offenses in the FBS can certainly get something done in that time. They hand it off at first down. And breaking through a little bit of a seam. That is Jalen Jenkins again. He's starting to find some creases in this defense.
Oh, he is, and I guarantee you that call was just to kind of see, okay, let's see what we can do on this first, and if we don't get any yards, let's go to the half then. But the fact that he reeled off a nice game, this is going to make this offense go now.
Jackson to the sideline. And that is caught by Kylan Evans, redshirt freshman from McKinney, Texas, who at the time of his signing was the 3rd highest rated high school recruit in Texas State FBS history. They like him a lot. And of Frisco Emerson.
Yeah, he's a roommate of Brad Jackson. Sometimes the receivers in the roommate with the quarterback, that's the best combination that you want. Them guys should be up late at night talking football and talking X's and O's.
You're saying that helped Texas State maybe beat out Texas Tech and Missouri for services?
It could possibly have been.
He had a lot of offers from big-time places. Jackson looking for sparks, and he overshoots him with Ty and Milton out there in coverage.
Oh, man, Brad's going to hate this one on the film room when they get back to San Marcos. I tell you what, both Sparks had this route on. It was a post back to corner route, and he had Milton on skates. And if this ball is thrown down towards the pylon, I think the fight song could be fired up for Texas State. That's a missed one there.
16 seconds, 3rd and 3, and they run it, and it's Jenkins, and he's got a first down. They've got all 3 timeouts. They'll use one here.
Jenkins on the carry.
So still plenty of time.
Texas State takes their first charge run out the half.
Yeah, now you're
It's a 30-second time.
You're looking at about a 52, 53-yard field goal here. I feel like you need a little bit more yards. I think you 5 to 7 more yards to maybe take a shot. Now it's indoors, so all bets are off with these kickers today.
Now, Tyler Robles is a USC transfer. He made his first career field goal last week. It was a 24-yarder. He takes over for Mason Shipley, who transferred to Texas right before spring ball. He made 15 field goals last year and a 60-yarder against Sam Houston. Both of those are program records. I'm not sure that G.J. Kinney's relying on a 60-yarder, but Robles in high school had a long of 52, so he's got a leg. But again, you put a guy who hasn't kicked a lot in college out here, it's a little bit different, especially in a rivalry game. You figure they need probably 5 or 6 more yards to feel comfortable. Jackson dumps it off Perry. Well, he'll get just that. He leaps out of bounds right around the 32. He went hurdling.
Oh, my gosh, this guy is fun to watch. Let's get into this thing. That's just, and
he went right over the top of KK Meyer.
It's a 30-second timeout.
Perry with a little grin through his helmet. Yeah. KK Meyer's 6 foot, so you're not jumping over a 7-footer, but I think we've seen the athleticism of Perry on full display.
I'm telling you,
in this opening half.
Well, I kind of felt the game plan had to extend to him being a pass catcher out of the backfield, and right there is right on the money, just to get enough to maybe chip away at this field goal.
So you're G.J. Kinney here, ball at the 32. From here, you're looking at give or take a 50-yarder, 49-yarder. What's the mindset if you're G.J. Kinney? Are you just keeping on the ground? Are you trying to get a chunk play sideline? What are you thinking?
I think this is a position play. You only have 6 seconds. The average football play is about 5.5, 6 seconds anyway. So I think this is a position play where you're going to see probably Brad Jackson catch it and go right to the middle of the field. You know, especially for a right-footed kicker, if you can get a little bit more this way.
Well, they go that way.
Okay.
Wow. Woo. That was almost going the other way.
And that's why I'm up here in the booth and not on the sideline, because I would have bet.
KK Meyer was thinking about 6. He had reservations for the end zone if that thing's a little bit lower. He jumped that route.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
All right, so here is Robles. Again, 24-yard made field goal last week, the first of his career. Former walk-on at USC. He will try here from 50.
UTSA takes their 3rd and final charge timeout to half.
Jeff Traylor is going to make a think about it.
30-second timeout.
All right, well, this is certainly where you test a young kicker and you say, hey, what do you got? Now, again, high school career long 52. That was at La Costa Canyon. He's a native of Encinitas, California in SoCal. Had a terrific high school career. He actually made 5 field goals in his high school career of 45 or more yards as a senior. So he's got the leg, but again, on this stage, a little different story.
Yeah, it's a little bit different story, but again, he's indoors. So that's going to help the lift of the ball now. You got to hit it solid, right? It's just like a golfer. You're on that first tee, hitting the drive. You got to hit that drive solid. So you got to rely on your mechanics here and pretend you're out there on practice kicking these things through the uprights.
Austin Turner to snap it, Nunez to hold it. From 50 yards, Robles it. How about that from the redshirt sophomore? A 50-yard bomb to close out the first half here in San Antonio. And Texas State will take a 5-point lead to the locker room here at the half.
Well, when he kicked it, he knew he made it as soon as he kicked it. And this thing had plenty of distance. He probably could have made that thing from 54. And it was dead to rights, centered in the goal post there.
Robles had big shoes to fill taking over for Mason Shipley, one of the all-time great Texas State kickers. And G.J. Kinney's team on top against his mentor Jeff Traylor at the half. 19-14, maybe a little lower scoring than we thought, but a great game nonetheless in the battle for I-35.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribal-Peace. Football is back, and all Fortune American Conference teams were in action this past week, so naturally, we have some top plays featuring the pigskin. It was a big night for North Texas, both offensively and defensively. Wyatt Young makes a reception from Drew Mestemaker, dodges multiple defenders, then dives into the end zone. The Army Black Knights were looking to get into a groove offensively. Brady Anderson says, "I'm going to help you out with that." Here he is diving backwards to make the catch. It wouldn't be a week of top plays without mentioning Memphis women's soccer. Here they are taking on Mizzou. Ai Kitagawa, we've heard her name plenty on top plays. She finds the back of the net. You always hope that your teammate has your back, and the Tulsa Golden Hurricane put that into action. Kevin Thollinger sprinting in, helping his buddy out to make a save. You have to pay close attention here in play number 1. It looks like that South Florida is going to punt the ball, but Lachlan Hewlett, he throws the pass, finds Keyshawn Singleton, who runs it in for a touchdown. We have a bonus play for you here this week, and this is why we needed to add it, because punters are people too. Angus Davies for Tulsa, an 80-yard punt. Oh my goodness. If you see a top play this week, make sure you use the hashtag #AmericanTopPlays. Keep it right here. We have more action for you on ESPN+. Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribal Peace. Earlier this week, the conference announced their weekly awards in men's and women's soccer, volleyball, and football. Right now, we take a look at the top performers in America's Best. The Offensive Player of the Week in volleyball is Memphis's Amanda Hart. Hart led the Tigers to a 3-0 opening weekend, averaging 4.36 kills per set while adding 8 service aces. She was named the Roan Invitational MVP. Against USC Upstate, Hart recorded a career-high 26 kills. The men's soccer Offensive Player of the Week is Charlotte's Elias Arsval. Arsval scored 3 goals and had an assist in Charlotte's 6-0 win over Queens. In women's soccer, Leah Chansey earned the title of the Offensive Player of the Week. Chansey aided the Owls to a pair of victories and contributed 3 points in each contest. She scored a goal and provided an assist in Rice's 3-2 win over Oklahoma State on Thursday. After a big performance against UMass, Evan Simon was named the American's Offensive Player of the Week in football. Simon completed 19 of 25 passes for 248 yards as he led Temple to its first road win since 2021 with a 42-10 victory at Massachusetts. For more on the award winners and a list of the weekly honorees, you can visit our website at theamerican.org. Keep it right here. We'll have more for you on ESPN Plus after this.
Halftime here at the Alamo Dome between UTSA and Texas State. Second half is coming up next. (19-14) the lead at the half for the Texas State Bobcats over the UTSA Roadrunners here in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome, where Texas State is trying to win for the first time in this head-to-head rivalry, the battle for I-35 with Aaron McLean and Jack Benjamin back with you inside the booth. All right, so a close game at the half. That's what we expected. I don't know that we saw it getting here the way that it did.
Yeah, it was kind of an odd start with the safety to kind of start the game, and I really thought Texas State defense set the tone early in that first quarter. But then you saw the Roadrunners kind of rally a little bit, and they were able to get things going. And here it is, right off the bat, that safety that we kind of talked about there, Jack.
Yeah, Cale Hogan unable to get that first punt off, and then Brad Jackson in the offense absolutely went to work.
You know, I thought he was incredible. The way that he's just calm, cool, and collected under pressure and his pinpoint accuracy on these deep passes. The defense out of position there as Don Jr. gets a big one there.
Yeah, it's mostly been Bo Sparks, 4 catches for 90, that 53-yard completion to Don, and then using his legs too.
Yeah, and this is another element in this offense that they had last year with McLeod, but he brings a different element in, meaning a sprint game or the zone read option game as well.
How did Owen McCown settle in the latter stages of the first half?
You know, I've always said he is tough as nails, and he's going to put the deep pass on the money. And I thought his scramble, this one here, really got the offense back on track because the defense didn't have an account for him. And that right there is just a point guard dishing it out right there, getting the ball to his playmaker in a touchdown.
So McCown, that touchdown pass, so you can see the numbers from the first half. Now UTSA, of course, last week gashed the Aggies in College Station. That has been a point of emphasis for this Texas State defense. What else jumps out?
Yo, this defense of the Bobcats is really, really good when they hold their opponents less than 101 yards rushing. They were 4-1 a year ago, and that's the trend's going to have to continue, I think, today for them to have to win. If they can keep that to a minimum, it is going to really make this offense at UTSA be one-dimensional.
You can see the numbers both ways. Third down's a big number in that first half as well. UTSA was just 2 for 6. Their average distance to go was 7.5 compared to 4 yards to go for Texas State, who ended up converting 4 of 9.
And that's the big thing we kind of talked about, Jack, right? We know you're going to get third down. You're not going to go through a game and not have third downs, but it's what you have to get to convert that third down. 7 yards is a lot further than 4, and that's why Texas State has been really good this afternoon.
Michael James boots another touchback for Texas State. Remember, the Bobcats won the toss, elected to receive, so they wanted to get their offense on the field first. That means UTSA gets the ball to start off the third quarter. Now, just before halftime, you saw redshirt sophomore Tyler Robles nail a 50-yard field goal, second field goal of his career. So that was a big one to stretch the lead to 5. And now McCown in this UTSA offense. McCown in that first half, 11 of 18, 131 and a score. You also saw he rushed for 23 yards. Henry's next to him on first down. They'll loft it, and that is incomplete. In the direction of Amador. 2nd and 10, so they take a shot on first down.
Well, that's the second time a receiver on that sideline is not locating the football. And yeah, I know that pass is well off the mark, and he's expecting him to kind of bend towards the sideline. I think that pass is on the money because you want to pull that receiver away from that defensive back on the fades.
Henry, big hole, and he hits the afterburners. Robert Henry is gone. He is inevitable. And UTSA grabs its first lead early in this third quarter. The same way he started the third quarter against A&M, a 75-yard touchdown run. It's deja vu.
Well, it was just a matter of time. This offense started to open up a little bit, but the quarterback scrambles. They were able to start to hit some shots downfield. But when you do that, that opens up room for Robert Henry. And we said at the beginning of the broadcast, in his last 3 games dating back to 2024, he had 3 75-plus yard rushes. Now add 4 to that total. But watch the offensive line play. It's just a zone stretch. And they get the lane created. And he's such a patient runner. And we talked with Coach Burke. He's such a good runner, meaning that he's disciplined to stay on track and then let his talent take over. And that's what you saw at the end of that run. What a fantastic gifted football player is. And Robert Henry.
He has been remarkable over now the course of his last 4 games. The final 2 of last season. We mentioned those The game against Temple, where he rushed for a career best 178. The game against North Texas, 168. 177 in College Station a week ago. And now, after being held in check in that first half, 7 rushes for 22. That's 75 right there.
This offense is so good. This offensive line, the way they're coached, when you run the stretch play or an outside zone in this case, those big bodies and the angles that you create for a running back like Robert Henry, that is ideal. And he stayed on his track long enough, and then he just let his natural ability take open once he saw daylight.
Murphy kicks into the end zone for a touchback. So Texas State's offense will take over at the 25. You know, the thing about Henry, we can talk about the numbers all we want, and his now streak of consecutive games with a 75-yard rush is remarkable. But it's the person he is that Jeff Traylor was raving about. Remember, he doesn't have this extra year of eligibility, if not for the waiver for JUCO players. He comes back for another year. He's got a young son, Dante, who's been a big part of his maturity. They really couldn't say enough about the person he is as well.
Yeah, they were gushing about Robert Henry, and what a fine young man he is. And an equal great football player as well.
Perry is taken down after a gain of about 3.
Boy, the momentum shifts in this game has been, it's been fun to watch. You know, just when you think Texas State has the upper hand, here comes UTSA.
Now you can see that bio on Henry as Perry tries to come right back and responds. Again, that extra year of eligibility because of the JUCO waiver. Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt starting that trend, and he took advantage. It's 3rd down and 2 meanwhile. Does Perry have an answer of his own in the backfield? Jackson has used his legs for the better as well, the quarterback.
Yeah, they haven't had an answer for the read option.
Perry breaks a tackle and he's loose. Second level and into UTSA territory. And still breaking tackles inside the 35. So Lincoln Perry says, all right, Robert Henry Jr., I see you. I've got something for you, too.
Whatever you do, I can do it, too. And here it is. It's a read option. The Roadrunners defense don't have an answer for that because they're so concerned about Brad Jackson keeping the ball. But when you read it right, Jack, when you read the read option correctly, the defense can never be corrected. Here it is. It's not only does he get the first down, it's this extra effort at the end of the run. That is what running backs are all about. You got to be able to finish runs, and Perry does it good as anybody.
Jalen Jenkins.
Jenkins takes the handoff over the left side.
And he gets about 3. Brandon Tucker on the tackle. East Texas A&M transfer.
Jack, it's so fun to watch this gigantic offensive line. These guys are just not stationary. They are pulling. They're getting downhill. They're zone blocking. They're man blocking. They're doing gap techniques. They're doing all kinds of things.
They're wild on 3rd and 5. Jackson on the keeper, and he spins. He is shy of the line to get.
Comes up short of the first down marker.
Well, we know now the kind of leg that Tyler Robles has, but knowing how aggressive this offense is, this is pretty much prime go-for-it territory.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of times the head coach will tell the offensive coordinator, hey, we get in this situation, you got 4 downs here. No matter what the situation is, obviously now.
They empty it out with 5 wide. They need 3. Jackson over the middle, and it's knocked away by a flag. They were looking for Kylan Evans. He was covered by Davin Martin.
Yeah, he got there just a touch too early.
Pass interference, defense number 3. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
And that's the part of this defense where maybe they're losing the most is in the secondary, a lot of inexperience.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point. You lose a lot of experience on that back end. And the pass is in a great position to where, yeah, if you time it great, it's an excellent play. But the fact that he got there just a touch early.
We saw them get tested against Marcel Reed and A&M last week in the pass game. This is Jenkins with a crease, and he'll walk in for 6. The Bobcats are back in front, just like that.
Now, we may have a ton of skilled players that could be eligible for players of the game. I think the offensive line for Texas State has been phenomenal. They have dominated the line of scrimmage. They've been beaten a couple of times, but that right there is just a mauling. They just absolutely destroyed the front 7 of UTSA. And with these types of running backs, they don't need a ton of space, Jack. They see a little bit of daylight, and then it's night-night because they're getting into the end zone.
Well, Jalen Jenkins had a career-long 58-yard rushing touchdown last week. He's got another one here, and Texas State is on top here in the 3rd. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. They've got a good one going here at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Texas State back on top, courtesy of Jalen Jenkins. A 17-yard touchdown run for the redshirt junior from Dallas. You know, he began his career at Washington State. He had a 58-yard touchdown last week in the 4th quarter against Eastern Michigan, a career-long rush. That was his first touchdown since 2022 against Oregon State. So he's now had touchdowns in back-to-back weeks after going about 3 years without finding pay dirt.
They've got a very deep running back group, and I think Jenkins gives them something that the others don't, right? And that is a luxury in this offense behind this big offensive line. We got to remember this offense ran for 392 yards last week against Eastern Michigan. They averaged 2.1 yards a carry.
Jenkins played for Texas State's tight end coach and passing game coordinator Will Bryant when he was the associate head coach and running backs coach in high school. He played at Allen High, Dallas native. UTSA, meanwhile.
Offside. Kicking team. The 5-yard penalty by Yankton at ball spot. First down.
We'll get 5 extra yards, is what I was going to say.
Well, the way these offenses have kind of really turned it up here, every little yard given is a big deal. And so this offense for UTSA, now their turn to have to respond. They've got good field position here to get going.
Robert Henry next to Owen McCown. It's off play action. And a wide open man. So another completion for McCown. They go right up the gut and find Devin McHewitt.
Yeah, I love the adjustment Coach Burke has done here. We got an injured Bobcat down. You know, they were running it so much on first down in that first half. Now you're starting to see the play action on first down.
Injury for Texas State. 11-12 to go in this third quarter in a 5-point game. The American on ESPN Plus is home to 40-plus college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events in every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information and to sign up, visit stream.espn.com. Remember, later tonight, Bill Belichick heading to Charlotte to take on the 49ers, 7 Eastern on ESPN Plus. For that one, bunch of great games tonight in the American on E+. Owen McCown back to work. And he's got David Amador, who's up close to midfield. And a quality play on first down to make it 2nd and short. And that's something that UTSA has done a lot better than the start of the game, getting into better down and distance scenarios.
Well, that's 100% correct, Jack. And, you know, the fact that they emptied the backfield and they threw a screen out of that formation really caught Texas State a little bit off balance there.
That went off the hands of DJ Allen, but a flag. He was covered by Camden Grogan,
A penalty flag on the field.
a redshirt senior from Mont Bellevue, Texas.
And it is fun to watch these receivers and defensive backs go at it.
Pass interference. Defense number 21. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Now these defensive backs have to be aggressive. Here it is, press coverage, and he's got his hands on him. And I think that little bit of a hold there is what they called. Yeah, that sounds like it was more of a holding even before that ball even got there. And that's a pretty good call. The official's still letting them play just in case the receiver does get the advantage.
Empty set for McCown. Time to throw, looking towards the end zone and knocked away. And tell you what, there were a lot of Bobcats around that football. Going for McEwen on the go route. And out there in coverage, Terrence Cooks, one of the linebackers.
Well, you said it right. A lot of defensive backs, a lot of Bobcats in general in the vicinity of the pass. And he's lucky that one didn't get tipped around and picked off in going the other way.
How about Cooks from his weak side linebacker position getting all the way out there to help out? That's a great play.
Yeah, you got to be an athlete. That's that old Tampa too, right? You've got that linebacker trailing right up the middle and a too deep safety look there.
Back to Henry. Room to run again. And he's just shy of a first down. He is over 100 yards once again. So making a fourth straight game over 100 yards for Robert Henry Jr.
And it's another nice run. On that touchdown run, he pressed the seam and then he hit it 100 miles an hour. Here it is. He's disciplined, staying inside on the track and then cutting it back on the back side of the offensive line and then finding some space to get to the next level.
By the way, Henry, to add on to his 75-yard touchdown rush earlier in this game, he was the only player in FBS last year to have back-to-back games with a 75-yard run.
UTSA takes their first charge from out of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
And oh, by the way, he now has a 75-yard TD run to start the third quarter in back-to-back games this year. So the only player in FBS to do that.
You know, this program, they just seem to get richer, and there it is there. You can see his stats the last 4 games. Again, we talked about that at the beginning of the broadcast. Over 520-plus yards rushing, 6 touchdowns in that mix coming into today's game, right?
Right.
And so it has been nothing short of remarkable. They just seem to find those running backs that fit Coach Traylor's system and Coach Burke as well as the offensive coordinator. And they just year in and year out have a top-end running back that's just as good as anybody in the nation.
One of the most remarkable things is that in his first 22 career games at UTSA, he didn't rush for 100 yards. But as the main guy, he's gotten there 4 straight times now. Third and short, they sneak it. And looked like it was close. And they're saying Texas State's, for a moment, got to stop.
It looked like they might have given it to him there. Yeah. Did signal right there.
No, they did signal forward.
And they actually took McCown out, and it looked like they actually had Dan Dishman at quarterback with the tush push there.
McCown to throw. Looking for McEwen. He went to the back shoulder. It's incomplete. Good coverage out there from Ryan Nolan, the safety.
Here it is. They line up. Power formation. I take that back. That's Patrick Overmeyer, number 9. The 9 and the 5 look so similar.
You know, he got a little tush push from Dishman, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And so,
well, the brotherly shove.
I don't know what they call it down here, though. You know, down south. I mean,
I can tell you the Eagles did it a few times Thursday night. NFL opener.
Okay. He brought it up.
McCown, clean pocket, and now he tucks and runs. All kinds of room in front, and shoved out of bounds inside the 10. It'll be first and goal to go for UTSA. Javis Minot shoved him out, but not before McCown uses his legs again.
Yeah, this is why he's dangerous. And this is what I said in the first half. You don't need to call run plays with him. Just let him naturally feel it out. And if the defense is not accounting for him, he knows to take off and break their backs. And he's done it several times here. And each time it's led to a score for UTSA.
On 1st and goal, Henry right up the gut, stacked up. Minot got in there again. Minot's a Wofford transfer. One thing that G.J. Kinney has done very well, obviously the success in the portal speaks for itself. He spent the 1 year at UIW where he led the Cardinals to the FCS semifinals. They lost a tight battle to North Dakota State, which everyone knows is the perennial power in the FCS, most national titles ever. But he's done a great job recruiting FCS guys as well to Texas State.
And I think that speaks volumes to him and the staff and the Texas State program. And let's not kid ourselves. They're going to the Pac-12 next year.
They are.
So that is a huge, huge thing, especially in the state of Texas, that he can get some of the top recruits across the nation in transfers.
2nd and goal. Henry is open. He walks in. And UTSA has the lead again. So Robert Henry's got a touchdown on the ground. And now one through the air from McCown, who's thrown 2 of them. Back and forth we go here at the Alamo Dome.
I think the unsung heroes in this game are the offensive coordinators. This is a Justin Burke special. You've got movement and action going one way, and all the while you're just slipping the running back out in the flats, and the defense loses track of him, Jack. That play has been run ever since Traylor has been here, ever since Coach Burke has been here, and it's working again to perfection.
Well, we've talked endlessly about Robert Henry on the ground. He can catch it too, folks. His 2nd score. UTSA on top. Midway through the 3rd. 28-26, UTSA on top of Texas State, turning into the kind of shootout we expected coming into this game. A rowdy, raucous crowd here at the Alamo Dome. Nearly 4-minute drive, goes 9 plays in 70 yards. McCown hits Robert Henry Jr. through the air this time. Second career receiving score for Henry. It's Jenkins from his goal line. And he's brought down at the 20. Much better coverage that time from UTSA's special teams unit. All right, this last drive, break it down. It was pretty masterful again.
Yeah, here it is again. The play action pass on first down. That opens things up vertically in this offense, so these receivers have a little bit of space. And then here it is again. You try it one more time, but you get the PI. So now you're still moving, and there's the tush push. And here we go one more time. Using his legs, Jack, one more time again to break down the defense. They don't have an answer for that. And this is a special for Coach Burke. Hey, we're going to flare you out in the flat because all the attention is going one way, and we're going to score the touchdown on running back the other way.
So Owen McCown, you can see his numbers today, not only doing it through the air, but LD, to your point, on the ground, he's been outstanding. You know, Jeff Traylor knows a thing or two about the McCown family. Of course, he coached Owen's dad, Josh, who's now the QB coach for the Vikings. His uncle, Luke, who played at Louisiana Tech in 12 years in the NFL. Uncle Randy played at A&M. As Burgess gets forward for a nice chunk play on first down. All three of those guys were coached by Jeff Traylor at Jacksonville High School. To tie things even more in this game, by the way, G.J. Kinney, who is one of Jordan Traylor's best friends, Jeff Traylor's son. Jordan is now the assistant quarterbacks coach on the Vikings with Josh McCown.
That's just crazy.
Burgess again has a first down. There is a flag.
I think the McCowans outnumber the Mannings. In this sense, they got this McCown's everywhere.
Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's the second penalty called today on Talik Lockett, who's making his 28th straight start. A guy who began his career at ULM. He's been a staple for G.J. Kinney.
Yeah, and he's an absolute mauler. This entire offensive line. Big physical guy there. And the coaches, you said it, you know, played a ton of football. 6'3", 316.
Tell you what, November 15th is going to be interesting. His dad, Telly's the running back coach at Southern Miss now. He wasn't Marshall, so now they're both in the Sun Belt West together. That'll be interesting.
Yeah,
when
nice
they face off.
Family reunion right there.
Brad Jackson to the outside, complete to Chris Dawn Jr. Another flag. And we're starting to see
Substitution. 12 men on defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So some penalties called both ways now. Starting to add up. That won't make Jeff Traylor happy.
5,778, third largest crowd.
Well, that's one way to slow down these offenses, I guess. You get laundry on the field every play.
Let the defense kind of catch their breath a little bit.
All right, Texas State facing second down and 9. Jackson with pressure, looking over the top for Dawn. He's got him again. Dawn with a cut, and he falls down inside the 25. Dawn has caught 2 balls today. He's already over 100 yards.
And Brad Jackson's got the courage, man. Watch this blitz pick up right there by number 4, right there, Torrance Burgess. That's the play. That allowed Jackson time to let this pass get downfield.
Jackson in the air again, batted up in the air and incomplete. Good play on the line by John Jones.
Man, I'm telling you, if you want to play big-time football as a running back, you better be good at pass protection. Here it is, an all-out blitz. They're crossing, and although it wasn't a crushing block, it was enough for Brad Jackson to stand in there and deliver a monster strike downfield and still take the hit.
So 2 catches for Dawn. First one went for 53. That one went for 56. And he's up to 109 on the day. Jackson looking to run. He shakes one, and he's shoved out of bounds by Shad Banks. He ripped off about half the chains.
This guy's fun to watch. My goodness. I mean, now I see it. You can only watch so much on film when you watch Brad Jackson, but there's just something about him. And I know what G.J. Kinney sees in his guy. He just has those things that you can't measure, right? You can't put a grade on it. He's just a football player playing quarterback.
This Alamodome crowd of nearly 46,000, third largest attended game in the Alamodome's history. Getting loud, and for good reason. Their defense in the run game is picking up in a big way. Owen Pee-wee makes the stop, and Texas State will have to settle for a field goal.
Now, good to see the big fella back in the game. China Otutu back in the game. Big number 13. And he's made his presence felt in the inside. That's a big stop there by the Roadrunners defense.
So Robles made from 50 just before halftime. This one from 38. To give Texas State the lead back. He does. And the Bobcats seesaw back in front. So 29-28. First time we've seen a field goal in quite a while. It's been all answering via touchdown, but how about Robles, the redshirt sophomore, coming through in a big way for G.J. Kinney. And Texas State's got the 1-point edge late here in this third quarter. You can see this UTSA crowd. Yes, there are some Texas State fans as well. I've seen some maroon throughout the crowd. This is the third largest home crowd in UTSA history, a program that launched in 2011. That inaugural game against Northeastern State is above them all, but two of the next three, the battle for I-35, this rivalry does bring out the best in both these teams, the best in both these fan bases, and what a display here today.
Well, what's so bad about that? I bet there's a ton of people still in the parking lot. That's what's so bad about it. This tailgating scene is insane. If you pull up to this thing, so they easily could have went, I think, maybe over 50,000 a day, but some of them still may be watching us on TV and still out there having a good time. Who knows?
So 4 straight lead changes. You can see UTSA 29 home wins since the Jeff Traylor era began in 2020. Only Alabama and Ohio State have more. They have made the Alamodome a brutally tough place to play. From the goal line, and Mekhi Anderson's tripped up. This tackle on special teams from Traylon Payne. And UTSA's offense will go back to work. That guy's having a good time. I can't tell you everything he's saying, but birds up is probably one of them.
Birds up was the last thing we saw there. He looks like he's about to get into the wrestling ring or something.
So we've had 4 straight drives of lead changes in this third quarter. Can UTSA answer again? Owen McCown with Will Henderson the third next to him. Tunnel screen, and Devin McEwen gets involved and picks up about 7 on first down.
Boy, it is night and day from the first half first down calls as opposed to what we're seeing here in the second half by UTSA. They are the aggressors now on first down, and they're setting themselves up with second and third down favorable situations.
Big hole for Henderson, and he's into the second level and into Bobcat territory. The redshirt freshman out of Gilmer High having himself a day.
And when you do that on first down, these run plays on second down prove to be big gashers. They pull Kamari Missouri, number 55. He's the left tackle, but he gets up in the hole and he almost has to find somebody to block. The damage was already done. I like Will Henderson. He's a nice little change up in the backfield. Robert Henry is more of the complete back. We talked about Peterson, number 28. He's kind of the bruiser at 215 pounds, but Henderson is that go home run hitter for sure.
Tymir Jackson is the injured Bobcat on the fields. He's one of their star defensive ends. Inside 4 minutes to go in this third quarter. And now a flag for
illegal substitution. 12th offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Before I could even say illegal,
first down.
before I could even say illegal sub for Patrick Overmeyer trying to run off the field, got beaten to it by Charles Lamartina, our referee. That's happened a couple times now to UTSA today.
Those are the types of things that, with the ball not even snapped, will absolutely drive coaches crazy.
Roadrunners haven't been heavily penalized today, 4 times for 30 yards. Stretch play, Henderson again. And that time, nothing doing. He's met and dropped by Aiden Jones. He's a transfer from Prairie View A&M. We mentioned the FCS transfers and the impact for this Texas State defense. Jones, another one of them.
That's a great play defensively. That time, the defensive line did their job. They held up the offensive line from getting to the next level. And to your point, it allowed Aiden Jones, the redshirt sophomore, to come in there and clean things up.
McCown lofting deep and incomplete. He was going for A.J. Wilson. And he was covered well by Camden Grogan.
How about that pass, though? That pass is where it needs to be. Now you just want your guy to go up and hopefully he can make a play. And yeah, there probably was some contact there. You heard a little bit of the boos from the crowd. But the officials letting him play, a little bit downfield.
Now this is where the Bobcat defense wants to be, having UTSA in 3rd and long.
Yeah, and this is where they kind of were in that first half. And this is where the Texas State defense kind of pinned their ears and really made it difficult.
They need the 36. They won't get that. It's a completion to Houston Thomas. So they get some of the yardage back. You could consider going for it here for UTSA, but see what they want to do.
Yeah, I really like that call there by Dexter McCoyle. He showed like he was going to blitz, and he only rushed 3 and dropped 8 into coverage.
Well, here's a huge play if they're going 4th and 7. Need the 36. Against a 4-man rush, McCown delivers, incomplete. He sailed it over the head of McEwen, and the closest man to it was the safety, Bobby Crosby. And UTSA, for the second time today, turns it over on downs.
Boy, he has them. I mean, they had the play that they wanted. Pass protection is good. You got plenty of time to let this route develop, and it's just a deep post. And he just puts a little bit too much air on it, but the receiver was there, and that's what he wish he had back.
So McCown, an off-target throw there after one of his better balls previously that wasn't hauled in by A.J. Wilson. And now Brad Jackson in this Texas State offense. Great field position. Jackson on a keeper. That read option's been a problem for this UTSA defense. We've got a flag coming in. I saw a push and potentially maybe what looked kind of like a half-hearted punch. Officiating crew will discuss this. Jeff Traylor beside himself.
You see Dorian Strawn, number 64, the left tackle, telling his guys to, hey, let's get back. Let's keep our composure.
After further on-field discussion, there is no foul on the play.
All right, so the flag picked up.
And you kind of got to just let them play a little bit here, guys. It's a heated rivalry. It's going to get a little chippy from time to time.
That's carried by Jackson up to the 46.
On 2nd and 7, Jackson rolling. Sets the feet. Incomplete. And a flag.
Easy call there.
Looking for Kylan Evans. Tripped up by Elijah Newell, the redshirt freshman from Maumelle, Arkansas, trying to cover the redshirt freshman on the other side.
Defensive 22. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Just so much to defend in this offense. You've got a sprint out pass to the right, but they're throwing it back against the grain as these routes are running away. And Newell, that's the only thing he really could do, because I think the receiver was in good position, Kylan Evans. That was going to be a big play for sure. They're checking on a road runner here, and you hope just a cramp or something like that, but
you know, you talk about the route concepts and all the things that they do offensively. G.J. Kinney, when you look at some of the offensive minds he's worked under, it's remarkable, and he's taken a little bit of something from everyone, right? His time with the Eagles and Doug Peterson, his time with Gus Malzahn, there's a lot there. There's some influence from Mac Brown. Chip Kelly is a guy he mentions when we talk to him, and some of the things he's taken as well.
And he's just made a great kind of collage, if you will, of those concepts, and he's made it its own. And now when you've got a play caller like Keppel, you know, you mix it up, and now you've got a monster that nobody's really seen, and that's why year in, year out, since they've been there, they've been one of the top offenses in the nation. Last year, they were 5th in total offense with 477 yards a game.
It's part of why you can lose your offensive coordinator, Mac Leftwich, and again with Keppel, just keep the thing rolling. Perry stacked up after a short game. Shad Banks makes the tackle. So this has been a drive where penalties have played a big role. Really the last 2 drives, even offensively for UTSA, penalties playing a part.
I think the penalties for UTSA on their last possession hurt them, because that got them way behind the chains, and that played back into Texas State's defense.
Motion man's Evans. Perry up the gut, and he spins just shy of the 35. Jermarius Lewis makes the tackle. As we tick inside a minute to go in this third quarter in a 1-point game, Texas State trying to build upon its lead on the road. They have never won here in the Alamo Dome against UTSA. Jackson on 3rd and 7. And he's got Perry for a first down and more.
Oh, man. Oh, how good is this, Jack?
Perry wins the catch. For a Bobcat first down.
Have you ever watched flag football and those guys just swivel their hips to make a guy miss the flag? I want you to watch Perry on this one. Perry does this like he's playing flag football. Good read here by Brad Jackson. Check it down to your running back. You can never go broke taking a profit, but watch that right there. That's what I'm talking about. He just stays all in one motion, and he's so athletic enough that any way his body, even if it's off platform, he still can make a guy miss. This offense is fun to watch. They get you in so many formations. The personnel rarely changes. You know, they always like to keep a tight end in the offense, but they can split their tight ends out and go like a 4 wide receiver look.
Now Brad Jackson, again, his first career road start. 219 yards through the air. Nearly 40 on the ground with that rushing score, which came back in the first half.
I'm a big fan. And that's just not because I've played the position at this level. I'm a huge fan of Brad Jackson. McCown too. You know, they're 2 different types of quarterbacks that do a lot of things similar.
Jackson taken off again. Breaking tackles is a flag. Banks tugs him down. That might be a horse collar at the end of it after what could have initially been a hold. There's going to be a lot to sort out here. And we've got a lineman down for Texas State as well. And that might be Lockett. So with 7 seconds to go in the third, there's a whole lot to uncover here.
You can see that
it is Lockett, by the way, who's down for Texas State, and he is a key piece of that offensive line, which, by the way, we touched upon this earlier in the broadcast. not only one of the biggest, but on average, the biggest by average weight in FBS. And he's a part of that. He's only 327.
Only. Big Bo's probably the biggest of the starters on offensive line. 6'5", 374, 65.
It's his 28th straight start today for Lockett.
Yeah, you see there he got rolled up on at the end of that play.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Holding, offense number 64. Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 0. Those fouls will offset. First down.
So I was incorrect with the horse collar. It was a face mask on Banks, but again, that's a play. If you just take him down, you've got Texas State well beyond the chains. Instead, it offsets. And you can see Lockett not putting a lot of pressure on that leg.
Yeah, and this is the thing with these offensive linemen. They stay engaged, and they've got bodies right there. You see that? You have one of the Roadrunners come in from the side, and he gets rolled up on, and that happens more times than not for sure.
Well, that will take us to the end of the third quarter. Last 3 meetings between these two in San Antonio decided by an average margin of 6. We're in for a good one again. A 1-point Texas State lead over UTSA as we go to the fourth quarter here at the Alamo Dome. Battle for I-35, third largest attendance in a UTSA game at the Alamo Dome in program history, a program that launched in 2011. 2 of those games have been in this rivalry. Brad Jackson lofting for the end zone, incomplete, and a flag. He was looking for Dawn, who was covered by Alpha Khan.
I don't know, Jack. I know they're letting the guys play. I think you still let them play this one out. That pass was not going to be catchable, I don't think.
Pass interference, defense number 10. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And not to mention, you call pass interference, maybe defensive holding, but watch the tail end of this play. Both players are kind of engaged with one another. That might not be the best angle. It did look like Khan there had his hand, the receiver's hand, a little bit.
Jackson fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and he gets near the 5. You know, UTSA, partner, had 1 penalty for 5 yards in the first half. 5 penalties for 40 yards in the second half, and that has played a huge role in Texas State maintaining this lead.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the thing that maybe changed the momentum of this game. We thought UTSA was starting to get hot on offense. The penalties kind of slowed them down. Now on the defensive side, the penalties have hurt them, and it's given life back to this offense that don't need much. This offense has played well the entire day, and here they go inside the 10.
Brad Jackson looking to run again. He's got a crease, and he's got 6 more. Touchdown, Texas State. It's the second rushing score for Jackson today. And they go back up by a touchdown early in the 4th here in San Antonio. 5 straight scoring drives for the Bobcats.
Like I said, I'm a huge fan of number 8. This kid can play for me on any day. Watch the toughness. He reads it, didn't like it. Could have been a delay called quarterback draw. But the fact that he has that ability to break a defense down, it is fun to watch. Both these quarterbacks taking advantage of a coverage on the back end, and really nobody's spying them. And they can have some room to run downfield, and obviously here for Jackson to get the TD.
A 6-play, 57-yard drive, capped by a 6-yard Brad Jackson touchdown run. He had a 9-yard touchdown run back in the second quarter. And Owen Peewee is the injured UTSA Roadrunner, one of their top linebackers. Brad Jackson, of course, back in San Antonio, where he played his senior year of high school football. Completed 75% of his passes that year, more than 2,400 yards passing, 28 touchdowns through the air, another 8 on the ground. An undefeated season at Reagan, a district title. Safe to say he likes this area.
You know what? And I'm trying to figure out what he does best. He could be in an offense, Jack, to where they just run the option, or they run just the quarterback in the read option game, right? Or if he's a passing quarterback, this guy's elite, and he's putting the team on his back, and he's fantastic to watch here this afternoon.
Texas State up 8 now. They have scored on 5 consecutive drives. Brad Jackson with his second rushing touchdown of the day from 6 yards out this time. And early in the fourth, the Bobcats in front as they try to win at UTSA for the first time in this battle for I-35. They did win for the first time in the series last year in San Marcos, and it was a convincing win, 49-10. Now trying to do it in back-to-back years and trying to do it on the back of a redshirt freshman quarterback who's been outstanding.
Boy, he just makes the right decisions. That time checking it down to Perry. Here it is. You get the pass interference that gets him a little bit closer, and then he takes over. And that's what I'm talking about. His ability to run the football is impeccable. This defense really can't control that. And that's why he's just so fun to watch here today.
So UTSA's offense has to find a way to respond now. Jackson with those 2 rushing touchdowns for the first time in his career. They go to the ground, and Henry, who is stacked up. Wanji again is there. Henry, by the way, 4 straight 100-yard games we mentioned. He came in tied with Ahmad Hardy for the longest active streak of 100-yard rushing games in the FBS. Hardy has now passed him with 5, but nonetheless, he's been outstanding again. Empty set on 2nd and 9.
They got Henry split to the top of the screen.
They go that way, and there is Henry. So we've seen him more involved as a receiver now. He caught the touchdown earlier. Some pushing and shoving along the Texas State sideline after the play.
Yeah, that's a nice play design there. Now the defense didn't really shift. Typically, if a running back splits out, you send a linebacker out there to guard it. But this time, they stay in soft coverage. And a good decision here by McCown to throw it out to the flat and let him make a play. You look at Henry there. He's wearing that number 3. That's a tradition here at UTSA, started by Sincere McCormick.
Breaking tackles. And he's down near the 45.
Takes it up near the 46.
Yeah, he's fired up, and you can tell he is giving the business back the other way to Texas State after every run he makes.
That's good for a little bit of first
Another
down.
first down. They got 10.5 there. McCown screen.
Good tackle there.
They do a good job of wrapping up Devin McEwen. Aiden Jones has the stop that time for the Texas State defense.
Yeah, that's a good tackle. That's almost like an extended run play. It's like a long handoff. You just want to get 4 or 5 yards at max if you can. Now it sets him up here nice here on 2nd down.
McCown faked the throw, and he's pulled down. What a play out in space that is. Kennard Snyder, the redshirt senior, with a huge play to make it 3rd and long.
Yeah, that's a big-time play because if he doesn't make it, McCown easily gets the first down. Watch it here. There's no outside contain. You see Snyder, they're doing a stunt on the inside, and the stunt brings him back at the right place.
They run it with Henry. There's nothing there.
Oh, man, they can't block 12, Jack.
They cannot. In the backfield again, the Iowa State transfer, who knows a thing or two about the Sun Belt in Texas State, considering he played his first 3 years of college ball at ULM. And now on 4th and 8, and you're inside your own territory. I understand that they want to be aggressive, and this is a high-scoring game, but this is a roll-the-dice moment if they do indeed go. Let's see. They may try to get to the jump. And a timeout. Taking on defense.
Texas State takes their first charge out of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
Well, it was only a matter of time before the chess match started to heat up between G.J. Kinney and Jeff Traylor. So the mentor that time plays some tricks, says, hey, I'm going to leave the offense out and see what you do. And G.J. Kinney calls timeout. What's your thought here? 4th and 8, you're in your own territory. You're only down a score. What's going through the mind of Jeff Traylor in this moment?
Yeah, I think you got to put a little bit of belief back in your defense, Jack. I think this is a punt. I just think it's too much time. It's a one-score game. If you go for it here and don't get the first down, you leave Texas State in optimal field position. They can go down and do a quick score, and then it gets a little dicey late this fourth quarter.
An offense, by the way, that has scored on 5 straight drives.
Absolutely.
Now keep in mind, you're right around midfield. They may try to draw them off sides, take the 5-yard penalty, then punt. Keep that in mind. 4th and 8. If they do indeed go, they need the 44 of Texas State, and they will. McCown looking, fires, got his man, it's Amador. Oh, it's a big roll of the dice. And it comes up perfect. Amador with a huge catch to move the chains.
And that play can't happen if the pass protection is not outstanding. Watch at the bottom of the screen. He's running a dig route, and they catch the defense in a too-high safety look. And 10 out of 10 times, the middle of the field will be wide open. Huge conversion by the Roadrunners.
Henry, right up the gut, room to run. Henry hits the gas pedal again. Touchdown UTSA. A roll of the dice pays off. And they can go for 2 if they choose to try to tie. Another huge game on the ground for Henry. How about 3 touchdowns today?
Boy, this is the game that keeps on giving. I'm telling you, I thought that conversion broke this defensive spirits just a little bit. But they got to come back and try to stop number 3 on offense. And when the offensive line gets their hands on this defensive front, it is lights out.
They'll go for 2. Last year, they were 3 for 3 on 2-point conversions. Henry's the running back.
Keep your eye on Henry. They like to slip him out in these situations into the flat.
McCown over the middle, complete. He's got McEwen, and we are knotted up. The Alamo Dome is rocking. Would you expect anything else? The Roadrunners respond again.
And this offensive line says, hey, put it on our backs because we got one of the best running backs in the country, Jack. And this offense, I'm telling you, when they spread you out, it is tough for anybody to cover. Road Runners score.
Alamo Dome on their feet after UTSA knots things up at 36 early in the fourth against their I-35 rivals, Texas State. Another rushing touchdown from Robert Henry. He's got 2 scores on the ground, 1 receiving as well. And a chance to return for Jalen Jenkins, who breaks a tackle. And he's out across the 30. He's been very solid in the return game today for Texas State. So UTSA's run game, it wasn't quite non-existent in the first half, but didn't really have it cooking. That has turned around courtesy of Robert Henry Jr. in the second half.
Yeah, and they got back to what they do best, and that's move the offensive line in their zone blocking scheme and run downhill. But the pass protection has been good, so good, that even if McCown can't find anybody open, he can still break them down on defense. And this right here, power football, is what they want to do. You've got the inside power. Now you're coming back the other way with arguably the best player in the American Conference for sure. And it is awesome to watch these guys lather up, and this young man as well.
Brad Jackson fakes a run, lofting it deep, and he's got Bo Sparks!
Oh my goodness!
More fireworks! Touchdown, Texas State! A 65-yard strike to go right back in front.
Oh man. My goodness. Hey, this defense, either defense cannot rest now because these offense has them in their crosshairs. And as soon as things start to get kind of normalized, one of these offenses comes up and says, nope, not exactly. And how about that throw and catch there from Jackson to Sparks? And that's how we started the game off. These two connected.
Well, they connected 4 times for touchdowns last week against Eastern Michigan. This is the first time today that they've done this in terms of getting the end zone, but yeah, there's a connection there.
And what you don't see in the background is Jackson doing the play fake. Jackson did the play fake all by himself. It was like he was doing a quarterback keeper, and he said, nope, I got you back door. And there it is. And you take a look there by Henry. He says, yeah, I got to go back to work.
So Bo Sparks now, 5 catches for 155 and a touchdown.
Man, it is fun to watch, Jack. That play, we used to call that even back in high school, it was a throwback post. You do the play action in the run, you go one way, but you've got the post in the back door. So those defensive backs are seeing that run action. They've said, okay, it's going to be a run. All the while, the receiver's running behind you. What a great call. Even better execution.
Michael James will kick off. And he sends a line drive that goes out of bounds. That's a mistake. Last thing in the world you want to do with these two offenses is give them a little extra field position.
Yeah, you said it.
That'll be the case here. We'll hear from Charles Lamartino.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. Bully placed at the 35-yard line, first down.
So the highest scoring game in this rivalry's history was in 2020 in San Marcos. 51-48. UTSA won that one. By the way, with Bo Sparks, one note on him. He began his career at Utah Tech in the FCS. His first ever college game, which came against FCS power Montana, he had 144 yards receiving. That was the only 100-yard receiving game of his career until today. New career high in yards, plus that 65-yard score moments ago. And now Owen McCown and the offense right back to work. And Henderson's drilled. Big stop, Ryan Nolan. He's played a great game. Junior from Gainesville, Florida, leading returning tackler on this defense.
And fantastic stop here by Nolan. He's the preseason second team all South Sun Belt. Not to say south of there, but it's a Freudian slip there, but He's an outstanding player, not only in coverage, but you've seen him a couple times flash in the run support and open field tackles.
On 2nd and 12, McCown has to scramble, and he's got some room to run. Out of bounds, he goes right near the line to gain. And they will wave that forward for a first down.
And that type of play by the quarterback just keeps this offense well. Just when you think they may have something, he just does this. And again, I wouldn't call another call one play for him if the defense is not going to have a spy to keep him in the pocket.
They bring 5 to the sideline. That's incomplete. Looking for McEwen.
Pass intended for Devin McEwen.
A little bit of a change up here by Dexter McCoyle. We've been seeing a lot of zone coverage here lately. This time he switches it up, decides to go man across the board, forcing the quarterback to find his best matchup.
On 2nd and 10, they run it with Henderson. And he is tripped up after a gain of 4. So it'll be 3rd down and 6 with the clock ticking inside 9 minutes to go in the 4th, which is an eternity the way that these two offenses can move.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. And I do like that play call there by Justin Byrd, just to get them back on track and ahead of the chains as much as they possibly can, even though it is a 3rd and 6.
They're only 3 for 9 on 3rd down today. Part of that reason is they were averaging about 7.5 yards to go. McCown slant, and that's batted away. Nearly picked. They were looking for Overmeyer, the tight end. All over it was Traylon Payne. Actually, Will Mitchell, the second, the nickel, got in there as well. And now you have another 4th down. And they went for it on 4th and 8 earlier. This is 4th and 6.
Almost in the same identical spot on the field, too. They were right around about where the eye is on that Roadrunner in the middle of the screen. And so it's going to be interesting to see if Texas State is going to play zone, because the last time they played zone, they had receivers running open for the Roadrunners.
On 4th and 6, McCown scrambling. And that's through the hands of Amador. It's a turnover on downs for UTSA. Out there in coverage, Kamari Terrell, the transfer from Oregon, where he played in 22 games in Eugene, former 4-star recruit. Another stop for this Texas State defense. 3rd turnover on downs today for UTSA. Texas State with the ball back up 7. Well, moments ago, UTSA turned it over on downs for the third time in this game. Bobby Crosby with a huge deflection on this pass from Owen McCown, one of their safeties. Just an enormous play.
Yeah, you know what? That tip may not mean a lot, but the fact that he tipped it changed the velocity of the football and the rotation of it. And yes, it does make it tough to catch, but Amador's certainly one of those that has to make that play, though.
Now, safe to say, must-stop time now for this UTSA defense. They have had no answers for Texas State in this second half.
Yeah, they have been an offensive machine.
6 straight drives resulting in a score. There's a deflection, though. Cam Blaylock got a paw on it. And all of a sudden, 3rd and long.
Well, we talked at the beginning of the broadcast. They rotate about 10 to 11 guys on that defensive front for UTSA. This is where this has to pay dividends. Those guys have got to start winning the battle. And here it is here on a 3rd and medium situation. They've got to get home.
Jackson falls down. He was swarmed in the backfield by Kenny Ozawalu. Redshirt freshman, local kid from San Antonio, who played at Reagan High with Brad Jackson, Sax's former quarterback.
And here it is. Watch Ozawalu right there. Does a great job. And I'm telling you, if you just watch the hip of these offensive linemen and attack it, it more times than not will take you where you need to be, even in the running game or in this case in a passing situation. Huge play there for the Roadrunners.
First punt since early in the second quarter for David Nunez. And Devin McEwen bobbled it a little bit, but makes the fair catch around the 10. Get all of ESPN college football all in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. When they talk about leveling up for the best experience, it truly is remarkable what they've been able to do. They've had a blast following all the coverage. You can customize everything. And there's a lot of good football to watch, including this game right here.
Well, it's fun to watch because now all these schools starting to play each other. You've got some of these bigger schools across the Power Four certainly playing each other now. And who knows? This all could have implications on the college football playoff. I know it's early, but these games certainly matter.
You see those games in the American still to come tonight. Couple of big ones as Henry tries to bounce it outside, and he's got some room to run. And he picks up right around 8 or 9 yards. So Henry just keeps chipping away. He's over 150 on the grounds.
You know a running back is elite when he gets better late in the game. This should have been a 2-yard loss. But we're talking about Robert Henry Jr., who's on another level, man. And I'm telling you, he has put this team on his back, and his offensive line is certainly glad to escort him along the way.
Henry again. He didn't need a whole lot to get the first down. He's close to the line. They're going to say that it is good for a first down.
Well, you got to keep in mind now that the clock getting under 6 minutes in the game, you are down 1 score. You almost don't want to try to score too quick. That's the thing. So you've got to be methodical enough. You got to get down here first. I know that. But at the same time, you don't have to be in the biggest hurry as you might think.
End around. Devin McEwen picks up a block. And he's just shy of the 40. He got a nice block from Overmeyer, his tight end. And a nice creative play call from Justin Burke that time.
Yeah, the best thing that you can do against a defense that's played a lot of plays is get them to chase. And here it is, the first time we've seen the end around. And he's got a little bit of a convoy, and his defense has to cover a lot of ground there.
Again, UTSA 10 straight home wins, tied for the longest home win streak in program history. That's on the line against their I-35 rivals who have never beaten UTSA in the Alamo Dome. They got their first ever win in the head-to-head series last year in San Marcos. Henry bottled up right away. First man on the scene was Terry Russell, the Mississippi State transfer. I mentioned this defense is just littered with power conference transfers. He's one of them. Played in 12 games in his 3 years in Starkville. Former consensus 4-star recruit.
And he's one of these guys they rotate in on the defensive end. You know, Khalil Alexander, we've called Kennard Snyder. He had, and Tamir Jackson, we've seen them. And Russell now getting into the fold, making a play there.
Clock becoming a factor. Inside 4.5 to play. McCown lofting and behind his intended receiver, DJ Allen, who caught a touchdown earlier.
Yeah, that is the one route in the route tree that the receiver and quarterback have not been in sync on, that go route. And I don't know if it's the receiver or the quarterback. I would think it would be the receiver, because the receiver has to utilize that space from the number to the sideline, because that's where the quarterbacks are taught to put it. So you fade away to the ball.
Jaden Rios step for step with him in coverage, the East Texas A&M transfer. 3rd and 10, they need the 47. Against a 4-man rush. That's dropped. A rare miscue for Henry today. And now you're at your own 37-yard line on 4th and long, and really no choice but to punt and lean on your defense to try to get a stop.
That's a tough break. A pass that he can easily make. I'm not so certain if he does make the catch, he probably picks up 4 or 5 yards. That decision again to go for it on 4th down probably is going to be a go. Credit to the defense, right? They changed up the look, a simulated pressure look at the snap, and then they drop back in coverage.
Takes their first charge on out of the half.
So Texas State takes a second timeout with 4:12 to go in this 4th quarter. Again, G.J. Kinney and Jeff Traylor go all the way back to 2005. Now, normally people may think, well, it's 2006 that Jeff Traylor coached him in high school at Gilmer High, but you know, G.J. Kinney was at Canton High first, and he played Jeff Traylor in the playoffs, and he just lit him up when he threw for 500 yards, 6 touchdowns. Jeff Traylor becomes his high school coach as a senior. They get reunited at SMU and then Arkansas as assistant coaches, and now FBS head coaches together. Jeff Traylor was talking to us this week about how proud he is of G.J., but just the odds of the two of these guys coaching against each other now for a 3rd straight year. This is the rubber match, though. They've each won one.
Coach Traylor was still kind of bitter about that game back at Gilmer and Canton back in the day. He was still kind of bitter about that one.
Cale Hogan gets off a pretty good punt. That'll take a UTSA bounce momentarily, and it'll die around the 22-yard line. So 4:01 to go. Texas State a chance to potentially ice this game away offensively. And they'll try to do it on the back of this guy, Bo Sparks, who today has 5 catches for a career-high 155 yards and a touchdown.
I think he's a matchup nightmare for any defense because he can play outside, and he's undersized, but he's quick as a cat. But also, if you put him in the inside, you lose track of him because the linebackers and the safety just can't keep up. And he can run every single route on the route tree exactly how you draw it in the sand. And that's what makes him a favorable target to Brad Jackson.
On 1st down, they run it with Lincoln Perry. He's forward for a couple. Sparks, by the way, 155 receiving yards. That's 10 shy of Texas State's FBS single-game record of 165. Ashton Hawkins in Arkansas State in November of 2023. So considering he's averaging right around 30 or so yards a catch, you figure one more catch would get him over that number. UTSA defensively, what's the mindset?
You got to get a stop, right? But you got to be careful trying to take the ball away. Too many times we see guys trying to strip, and then the running back or the receiver or whoever has the ball gets those extra yards to get the 1st down. So you got to keep everything underneath, and when that ball is turned loose, you've got to come up and make a tackle.
Redshirt freshman quarterback Brad Jackson, who played his senior year of high school here in San Antonio at Reagan High. He's been masterful. Lincoln Perry And he's taken down. So here you go for UTSA, kind of in that third and medium. Do you dial something up here? And really on the flip side, if you're G.J. Kinney and play caller Landon Keppel, how aggressive are they getting?
I think that play was a setup. I think that play now, because of the read option look, I would not be shocked if you see that same formation, same type of look, and then the quarterback either keeps it or he's got somebody in the flat to dump it off to. It's a lot for this defense to try to defend, Jack.
Third largest crowd in the history of the Alamo Dome on their feet. 3rd and 6, needing the 32. Jackson underneath, and taken down as his tight end, Titus Lyons. He's shy of the line again, and Texas State will have to punt it away as we tick down towards 2 minutes.
And I think just left, the defensive coordinator thought the same thing I thought. So he had his defense make sure you account for the running back quarterback mesh, but we have got to get to the flats and keep accountable for the tight end. Here it is again. You knew it's coming. Play action pass, read option. They slipped the tight end into the flat. And that's an excellent job by this defense to get on their horse to make that tackle.
So G.J. Kinney, who is about as aggressive an offensive mind and as innovative an offensive mind as you'll find in college football. I mean, this guy in his time in 4 seasons now as a head coach has just been remarkable. 29-12 mark. They've been among the FBS leaders since he took over Texas State in scoring and total offense, passing and rushing. But on 4th and 4 at your own 28-yard line, you can only get so aggressive. And it'll be a punt coming from David Nunez, who again last week punted all of 1 time. This will be his 5th punt today. Devin McEwen awaits. Waves for a fair catch. Right around the 32. Well, 2:16 on the 4th quarter clock. Texas State by 7 over UTSA. Battle for I-35. 2 coaches who go way back. 2 places that don't like each other a whole lot. We couldn't ask for anything else.
Yeah, this is what you script, right? And I think if you're UTSA, you kind of wanted this, right? You didn't want to have to give the ball back to G.J. Kinney and Brad Jackson and company to try to go down and beat you. You like this here where you can go down here and try to win this game.
Owen McCown. What does the redshirt junior have up his sleeve? He's got a completion to Houston Thomas, his tight ends. So that's a good way to start the drive. It's a gain of about 4. Again, they have the 2-minute timeout, and they have 1 timeout as well.
I don't know if this defense can stay in zone much more longer if they can't get home and apply pressure.
That's a great catch by Henry. Able to squeeze it in and get out of bounds. And that will take us to the 2-minute timeout here in San Antonio. 43-36, Texas State leading UTSA, looking for its first ever win in the Alamo Dome. UTSA trying to drive for a tie of the lead. Well, Jeff Traylor and G.J. Kinney go all the way back to when Jeff Traylor coached G.J. at Gilmer High School in 2006. He was his quarterback, led them to an undefeated season in a district championship in the regular year. And in this series, the battle for I-35, the three matchups here at the Alamo Dome combined 18 points to decide them. An average margin of 6. So we've got another great one here. UTSA needs a touchdown to at least try to tie. Off the 2-minute timeout, Owen McCown has another completion, and that's a great start to the drive. 3 for 3 thus far. A couple catches on the drive for tight end Houston Thomas.
The only thing I can think of from Dexter McCoy playing zone is he's allowing some of these completions and hope these guys make the tackle while the clock still runs.
McCown, all kinds of time, and that's over the head of Devin McEwen. Covered along the sideline by Jaden Rios, the East Texas A&M transfer, who they are very high on. It's been outstanding. He was an All-American at the JUCO level a season ago. So now 3rd down and 5. Can see what UTSA has done on 3rd down, and that bottom line's the key number. They've been in 3rd and medium or 3rd and long most of the day. Only 3 conversions and 11 tries. They need the 48 of Texas State. McCown delivers, dropped. Patrick Overmeyer had it, lost it, and the game will come down to this.
Oh boy, that was the one, because even if he catches it, it's at least 4th and 1, and then you feel a little bit better about it. Here they go, sprint out pass. It's a great throw. The catch is just not there. He's trying to make a play before he secured it.
4th and 5. They need the 48 of the Bobcats. They are 1 for 5 on 4th down today.
I would not be shocked if Dexter McCoy brings a little bit of pressure here.
He does. McCown throws, incomplete. Looking for Houston Thomas. And Texas State is going to come into the Alamo Dome and win against UTSA in this building for the first time in the history of the battle for I-35.
I think everything is right about that last play, Jack. You just got to make this catch. You got to bail your quarterback out. He's under pressure, so it's coming in a little hot. But that's a catch, Houston Thomas. He's too talented enough to not make that grab.
Yeah, that looked like it was a touch high, but again, he had a couple of big grabs on the drive. And I'll tell you what, we mentioned the 3rd largest attended game in the Alamo Dome in its history. A lot of maroon and gold in the stands today as well.
And they are loud.
Only about an hour trip south from San Marcos. Brad Jackson will burn some clock, fall to a knee as he gets hit.
I'm not surprised that's not a flag right there. A player giving himself up. And he still took a shot.
Now, last thing you need is
UTSA takes the 3rd and 5 charge.
Yeah, watch into that. There it is. I'm not so sure that should not been a flag.
I was going to say it's close to a targeting call there. So the final timeout used by UTSA with 1:21 left. And again, when I referenced that Texas State had put it away, that's obviously assuming that they are able to handle snaps and be clean here on the next couple of plays. But I mean, UTSA out of timeouts at this point.
I mean, you're right. I mean, it'd have to be something wacky. I mean, it had to be something out of this world right now, because with UTSA with no way to stop the clock, you arguably can say they can kneel it down here, and that's pretty much it.
They'll go into victory formation now. A kneel down for Jackson. They'll be able to do that once more, and G.J. Kinney is going to grab a 2nd win in a row against his mentor, Jeff Traylor. UTSA's 10-game home win streak is going to come to a close. Last time they lost a home game, September 15th of 2023 against Army. They had won 17 of their last 18 games here at home. It's going to be their 4th home loss in 33 games under Jeff Traylor here at the Alamo Dome. And you can't say enough about Texas State, who will move to 2-0 in back-to-back seasons for the first time in 41 years. G.J. Kinney and his staff have reason to celebrate. The battle for I-35 once again belongs to the Bobcats. Back-to-back years with wins for G.J. Kinney and Texas State over his mentor Jeff Traylor and UTSA. And for the first time ever, Texas State beats UTSA in the Alamo Dome.
Well, Jack, man, this has been an incredible football game. 2 programs that are certainly 2 of the teams I think are top of the class in their respective conferences for sure. But, man, I hate to see either one of these teams have to lose today because they put it all on the line. And it took a team like Texas State to come into the Alamo Dome and beat a Coach Traylor team. It was like looking at themselves in the mirror. Everything you looked at across the board. Fantastic win for the Bobcats today.
When Texas State scores 40 or more points under G.J. Kinney, they are now 12-1 in his 3 seasons. And he's got back-to-back wins against UTSA after they had not won in the first 5 meetings in the battle for I-35. That'll do it for us. For our great crew, my partner LaDarren McClain, producer Will Black, Ryan Duvall, our entire crew, Jack Benjamin saying so long from the Alamo Dome, where Texas State beats UTSA in this building for the first time in program history. 43-36, the Bobcats win the battle for I-35 once again.